Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of Way of the Brush with me, your host, Kris, aka the Name Butcher, aka Hey You Get Off My Lawn, aka Kris, you're being creepy again. Way of the Brush, the most informative 120 minutes on the internet on the wargaming lifestyle. We'll talk about painting, terrain, conversions, and anything under the sun. First time viewers, we do a lot of painting talk as well as a lot of what's under the sun, meaning no topics are barred. We'll talk about anything and everything. So be warned. If you're watching this live, you can ask your questions in the chat, whichever direction it might be in for you. And if you're watching this after the fact, you can submit your questions to Kris@wayofthebrush.com. It is in the description below, as well as a link to wayofthebrush.com. Central hub of all this silliness has links to all the social medias, as well as Discord. It's a lot of fun. We keep the conversation rolling there 24/7, so feel free to join us on the Discord. We have various channels for various topics and various reasons, and yeah. Only one rule, don't be a dick. That's it. Pretty simple. Also at wayofthebrush.com, you'll find links for t-shirts. And also, if you're watching this on YouTube, you'll see it down below as well. T-shirts. Want to help support the channel, help the cause, and look like a connoisseur of all that is good and holy in this world. They're wearing a Way of the Brush t-shirt. And of course, if you purchase yourself a shirt, send a picture of yourself in your shirt, and I will add it to the Monkey Shrine, which is also at wayofthebrush.com. Really, just go wayofthebrush.com. Just go there. It's all there. It's all there. You'll also find a link for Patreon. Huge thank you to all my patrons who've currently just joined us, and of course everybody who's continued support. A huge thank you to you all. Without you guys, I just wouldn't be able to continue to do what it is that I do, which is educate, inform, sometimes entertain. Sometimes. And so a huge thank you. There's various tiers of support, so pick whatever makes sense to you, and a huge thank you. And if you're not able to support monetarily, i.e. money, thumbing up the video, liking, following, subscribing, sharing, commenting, and all the other interactions with the video, that all helps as well. And so a huge thank you to everybody who does. Big thank you to Carl, aka Guymere Allfair, aka Beer and Blood Bowl. That's his YouTube channel. Check him out. If you love yourself some beer, you love yourself some Blood Bowl. Beer and Blood Bowl is where it's at. We always take the time to thank Carl, even though he is no longer with us, for taking the time out of his busy day to create the email jingles that play before the email segments of the show. And so always much love to Carl. And of course, speaking of love, much love to my baby brother Evan for creating the intro, outro music that plays at the begin and end of the show. So always much love to my baby bro Evan. And if you're into rare comics, not medium rare, not well done, but rare comics, EB Comics is in the description below. Check him out. He may have the comic that you're looking for. He's got comics. I know he's got comics. Is it the one you're looking for? I don't know. I can't say with any certainty. Oi, Fritz. George! There we go. Thank you, George. Subscribing. Thank you, George. Wow and we. wow and we. Wowee. Yeah, so we are in another beautiful Saturday. And here I am, indoors, talking to you, hopefully helping you with your projects. Maybe keeping me company. I don't know. Maybe you're painting. Maybe you're on a drive. Maybe you're on a walk. It almost sounded like I was going to bust into a Dr. Seuss rhyme there for a second. I'm speaking in rhyme. Who's joining us today? I could see Evan Belleau. Sup, everybody? Ghost of Starman Deluxe. Hi, monkeys. And Kris, I'm actually on time for the first time in a little bit. Yes. Can't wait for Warhammer World partially reopening this week. They're reopening? Man, you guys are lucky. Here in Canada, in Ontario, we are going into a 4-week lockdown. Everything. Right? Just like it was like at the beginning of this whole damn thing. Apparently the cases are just skyrocketing and, so we're locking down again. We're on lockdown. But they've, yeah. There's all sorts of issues with this whole dealing of this thing. And what they're doing right now is pretty much what should have been done from the beginning. But, usually it's a whole thing of money changing hands, right? That's usually, I scratch your back, you scratch mine kind of thing. it's politics, right? So I think politics really is to blame for a lot of people's ire, as it were. And so realistically, like, everybody getting mad at each other, but realistically, we shouldn't be getting mad at each other. Should you be getting mad at the ones responsible? My thoughts. You know, I think we should be voicing those concerns to those who actually make the decisions, not poor kid working a 7-Eleven and, you know, he tells you to put your mask on and you flip your shit on him. Doesn't do anything for that kid, you know? Anyway. Sergeant Shamrock. Monkey Monday. Wait. It's Santa. My bad. Yeah, you're a little off there, bud. With a name like Sergeant Shamrock, I would assume that you observe a 24-hour clock and are quite routine, I would assume. But it's just a name, right? Sergeant Shamrock. Could be just a fan. Night Warden Gaming. Morning, Monkey Lord and fellow monkeys. Morning. Ghost of Starman Deluxe. Yeah, some UK restrictions are lifting on the 12th, one of which is the non-essential shops can reopen. Yeah, realistically, I think, like, right from when they started loosening up a bit earlier, they really should have, right from the beginning, it should always have been, you know, the big box stores. Well, we on this side of the pond, we call them big box stores. I don't know if everywhere else they refer to, you know, the big stores, you know, Walmart, Home Depot, all that stuff, right? Big box stores. I'm sure we're all on the same page on that. But anyway, those should have been very, very restricted right from the start, and that should never have let up. Small businesses should have been, once things started to ease up, should have been allowed to reopen under restrictions, of course. But even now, as we tighten up restrictions, the smaller businesses should be allowed to continue, and the bigger businesses should be shut down. Why? It's numbers. I mean, that's what we're talking about with this whole thing, right? Is numbers. So how does it make sense that the big box stores get to stay open and operate at full capacity, or even slightly, I mean, it was a joke really, but a slightly limited capacity, and you have dozens upon dozens, hundreds showing up into one location, even if people wear masks, which, you know, here in Canada, most do. It's not a huge issue. It's a huge issue, but I mean, like, it's not a very common one. People bitch and moan, but people are going to bitch and moan anyway. And those kinds of places should never have let up the entire time, because it's a simple fact that large gatherings, boom, regardless of if you have them all standing in single file lines and, you know what I mean, wearing masks, because wearing a mask is a deterrent. It's not preventative. It's not 100%, right? We know it's not 100%. In fact, on the masks themselves, they say N95, right? Why? Because it works 95% of the time. If people are going to get all worked up over numbers, right? So, no. Smaller stores should have been allowed to remain open, but obviously restrict the number. And of course, I think it would have been better to have something more along the lines of square footage. The more square footage, the fewer people allowed, right? Well, sorry, I guess it's kind of reverse. Like, really small stores should not have, you know, more than, say, 2 or 3 people at once in the facility. The bigger you get, you know, that kind of ratio should have been enforced with smaller business kind of things, right? But I don't make those decisions. Ghost of Starman. I would argue Warhammer comes under essential shopping, but the government doesn't agree. I'm sure Warhammer is essential. I think a lot of things that are recreational should be seen as essential, right? because, I mean, here in Canada, I mean, the beer store and the liquor store, they stay open, right? Because, yeah, people would flip their shit if they couldn't get a glass of wine, a beer, or whatever, right? There would be blood in the streets in no time. Like, you know, if people couldn't have access to alcohol, especially within bigger cities, oh yeah, people would be losing their shit left and right. And, you know, other hobbies and things like that should fall within that kind of category because it's the kind of things. Oi, geez Louise. Sir Peanut Butter, thank you. Okay, wait. There we go. Some Photoshop fun for you. And, yeah, like hobby things should have been kind of in that ballpark area because it's the kind of things, because not everybody drinks, right? Not everybody smokes, not everybody does, you know, recreational pharmaceuticals. So, you know, some of you, I'm sure there's many of you who, you know, just want to sit there and, you know, have your paints, you know, maybe you knit, maybe you know what I mean, like these kind of things. That's the kind of stuff I'm talking about because that's the kind of stuff that helps people unwind. And you know, I mean, I realize that you were kind of making a joke that Warhammer should be essential, but the logic in it is sound as far as I'm concerned because yeah, it's that kind of thing. I know that so many people it alleviates a lot of anxiety and stress, and you know what I mean, and especially for those who may have been lost their job, you know, and, you know, you know what, screw it. I'm going to get to my models. I'm going to get this unit done. I'm going to get my army done. Shit, I ran out of paint. Shit, I can't go to my local store. Shit, now, you know, now I have this whole thing built up and I can't do anything about it. And, you know what I mean? And that just causes more ire and you know, and it's just, it's no good. And then, of course, people start flipping out and, you know, shooting up the place kind of thing. And, you know. So no, but anyway. Sir Peanut Butter, morning, Kris and Peeps, morning. Mike Grimshaw, the LCBO and beer store stayed open to help addicts. You don't need alcoholics detoxing in a hospital, taking up bed that may be better used. I don't disagree on recreational stuff though, but I mean, the last time the world dealt with something like this was over 100 years ago. Well, it was 100 years ago, give or take a year. And 100 years ago, things were very different. So the precedence set at that, with that event, you know, it's hard to compare to our current age. First of all, there's way more people than there were 100 years ago. And, you know, the times are very, very different from 100 years ago. In North America, at least. I can't speak to the rest of the world because I've, you know, never lived there. So, but yeah. And, you know, I mean, a little leeway in how we deal with this stuff. I mean, you know, and people, of course, you know, go on about how this was treated and that was treated. This information, this is how they reacted at the time. But again, I mean, you know, it's all really ridiculous. I mean, I realize that everyone is fucking tired of this shit. But, you know, I would think at this point though, we would be a little bit better at dealing with this. But apparently not. Mike Grimshaw. Then the argument comes down to what is recreational. Sure. I mean, we can argue semantics all till we're all blue in the face, but by the time we end up resolving it, you know, it's, you know, hopefully we're through it. You know, I mean, either you can either make the yes or no argument, sure, but I would argue that it helps that, you know, like from the beginning, smaller businesses should have remained under restriction, but it still had been allowed to continue to operate, as opposed to the bigger places. The restrictions should have been much stricter on the larger businesses. Anytime you have more than 20 some people gathered, I mean, it only makes sense. It's if everybody's going to talk numbers, those are the numbers, right? We have more people clustered together, more instances of, contamination across people, as opposed to, little mom and pops, where they only have maybe, 3 people at a time. You know what I mean? Now, mind you, yes, even one person can contaminate large groups, right? Early on, right? Remember in Korea, there was that patient 0 or patient 1 or whatever the hell she was called. Patient 33? I think it was patient 33, wasn't it? Anyway, they followed her path on where she was going, and it showed that she infected like 300 people or something like that. Because she went to like a convention, she went to a wedding, she went to this and that. You know what I mean? And she was contagious, and she spread it all over the place. So one person managed to get, a whole bunch of people, right? And I think we got to remember that yeah, it's one person can make the difference. But that's just my thoughts. I don't make the rules, though. Quite frankly, I probably would be for not less rules, but clearer rules. Ghost of Starman, that is actually a good point, to be fair. Making Warhammer, like keeping recreational things available? Yeah. Now, mind you, things like Amazon, they've been making a killing because everybody's stuck indoors, but, their drivers, have to go around and, deliver all these packages, and, the businesses can still stay open. And and I'm sure there was probably a lot of smaller businesses that probably joined with the Amazon conglomerate, and, tried to stay afloat in that regards. And, usually in these instances, it's usually big fish gobbling little fish, right? And so that's most likely what was happening the entire year. But anyway, Ariel Sasinski. Hi, Kris. Hi, everyone. Hi, Ariel. Yeah, I'm just, bitching and moaning. I'm all for wearing my mask. I'm all for washing my hands, not touching my face, keeping away from large groups of people, and even small groups, really. And really, in fact, just avoiding people altogether. I would even avoid my family if I could. That's awful. I know, it's awful. It's an awful thing to say. Doesn't make it less true. Let's jump over to the... You know what? I'm going to quickly look at Games Workshop. Did we have any kind of sneak preview release thingy today for Games Workshop? Oh! Yeah, we should have gotten... yes, that's today. Fuck. I'm so behind on everything. The new Titan from Games Workshop. I'm pretty sure we're talking about it now. So right now he's not in. Making a mess. So yeah, we're talking about this guy. We'll talk about this for a moment. But yeah, the War Master. This kit. Holy crap. Okay. Now, if you're not into Titanicus, you're not going to be really that fired up over this. It's a cool ass model, I will say. This model, okay, for anybody out there, this model, you guys probably can't hear me. I'll point it this way. There we go. So this model is a lot of fun. It's a big kit. It's about as big as you see it compared to my face there on the picture. Let me see here. I'm going to compare what I got here. Yeah, the picture on the back is pretty close to the actual size of the model, to give you an idea of how big a model kit you're getting here. I imagine this is probably going to be pretty expensive too when it comes out. I don't know if it's up for pre-order today. Is this already up for pre-order today? I don't even know. Let's see. I don't see it on the pre-order thing. Holy shit, the pre-order thing is pretty sparse. Anyway, Yeah, it's usually around noon or 1 around here, right? When North America makes a change to the site. But anyway, this kit. This kit, holy cramoles. This kit's been kicking my ass. Okay? Assembling it, holy cramoly. Now, the one big positive I will say about this kit is the level of detail is amazing. Like, the pictures don't even do it justice on how much detail and how much fun you could have painting and converting this kit. Like, it's almost endless. And even the weapon options given in here are pretty darn good. Like the guns that are on his carapace, on the top of his carapace, you can have different guns up there. He's got guns up on his shoulder, like up on the shoulders here, right there. There's a little missile bay that rotates, and you can make that different. And his arm guns are going to be that, but like the little guns up there, yeah, right there, you can have different ones there. The shoulder guns there can be different. Even his knee guns can be, one or the other. Make them the same, make them, off, whatever. Now, this kit, though, I will say first and foremost, this kit is a modeler's kit. It's a modeler's kit. It is 4 sprues of tiny parts. Okay, so if you're really into building models, okay, like I started in this hobby as a model builder. That's kind of, the beginnings of my interest in a lot of this stuff. And I had a lot of fun. If I wasn't really under, not pressure, but I don't know what the word is, but if I wasn't under the clock, so to speak, on, getting it assembled and stuff like that, like this would be like totally fun. And even the way the layout on how the parts all come together are really good at hiding seams, and also kind of like, where you nick parts, like clean the nubs and stuff like that. Even some of those edges meet up or are camouflaged as parts overlay on top of each other and stuff like that. Like, it's a well-designed kit. It's a bazillion pieces. It's 4 sprues. Where's the sprue? Like, here's one sprue. Okay? They're pretty big sprues. Like, you can see how big that is. There's 4 of these in this box. And it's like tiniest of little pieces. Like, some of the head options, like that's like that little bit right there, the size of my fingernail, that's the top of the Titan's head. Like, and it's fantastic. Don't get me wrong, it's fantastic. I really wish I could have dedicated more time working on this. And it's not done. I'm not done it. So everybody's going to get a chance to follow along as I work through this model. Because I am making tutorials. Patrons are going to get, patrons, I didn't even post it for the patrons yet. But patrons will get access to these tutorials later today. So, yeah. But he's not done. In fact, there's a lot of work to be done on him. I'm not even halfway through him. Yeah, I know. It's, it is what it is. But, it's an excellent kit for a model build. Model builders, everybody out there who I cannot remember the last time I encountered a kit of this complexity from Games Workshop. I honestly cannot think of a time. The instructions, really straightforward. I highly recommend you pay attention to them. Read through it once or twice beforehand. No, it's not reading, but I mean, go through it once or twice beforehand before you start cutting bits off the sprue. You can, there's options. You can magnetize the hell out of this thing if you really wanted to. It can even be reposed. Like, I'm actually really quite impressed. They sculpted the feet. Like, look at all the detail in the feet. Like, that's hilarious because it's just going to get plopped down on a base. Oh yeah, that's his leg so far. And yeah, it's a really impressive kit. Like I said, if you're a model builder, this is a kit. If you only enjoy building these kits, yeah, this is going to be one of those kits that's going to keep you busy for a bit. It's going to be quite time consuming. But yeah, and painting it, I would definitely recommend painting it in sub-assemblies, just in case, just for everybody out there who really wants to, get into, the nooks and crannies, and get like, if you miss spots or couldn't get at it, it would just annoy you, right? And yeah, if you're that kind of painter, modeler, and gamer, yeah, I would do this in sub-assemblies. Take the time to properly do it. But like, this model is chocked full of details. Like, in his little love handle areas, there is a balcony on both sides, and a little door, there's little consoles, and I regret now putting these in place already. Like, again, there's so much time could be spent lovingly going over all the details. Like, there's even like up on his shoulders here, up on the top of his carapace, there's little ladders and like a little console, and little doorways. The back has this little extendable kind of ramp. You could model it straight out, like if you had him like kind of like he's in a harness, or what I mean, like in his scaffolding, and what I mean, like working on the Titan. Like, if you like, there's so much option. And again, he's posable, and he's like here, okay, here's one of his arms. You can rotate that, right? And then of course this part here can turn. So there's actually quite a bit of movement, and it's all modeled. And yeah, I mean, like, it's like, if you are into the Titans, or you just love complex kits, this kit is something. It is definitely something. It's chocked full of detail. And yeah, I mean, like, it's fantastic. I mean, I can't imagine a large scale version of this model coming out, because it would literally take you a year just to clean and assemble the whole thing. Like, if they made a 40K version of this, holy carmoles. It'd be insanity, mainly because he's quite a bit bigger than a Warlord Titan, and yeah. But yeah, that's so everybody out there, this was the project that I was talking about. Ghost of Starman Lockdown Rules 2025. You have to avoid yourself. The Vampire Team for Underworlds came out for pre-order today. I fancy picking them up. Oh, is it the Vampires today that's coming out? Okay. I haven't even looked, really. I haven't even looked. I just, I'm way behind on a lot of my efforts. And yeah. It's just been a lot of other stuff coming up, and yeah. I don't really like to make excuses, so I'm not going to give any. Ariel Sisinski, Mecha Chungus. Mecha Chungus? Mecha Chungus. That's a fun word to say. Mecha Chungus. Legion. I'm also looking forward to the Vampires. The Vampires. Ghost of Starman Deluxe. 95 UK British pound. Hoof! About the same as an Imperial Knight. So yeah, it's going to be about $200. And when I'm done it, I'll most likely, post it for sale. When I'm done it. I don't really want to spend too much time on it. So I'm thinking that over the course of the coming days and weeks, alongside the tutorials on specific aspects, I think I'm going to live stream just a lot of work, because there's a lot of like repeatable type stuff, like all the armor panels. I mean, I would demonstrate how to paint the armor panel, but then it's repeated like 6 times, right? That's not terribly exciting in a video, because I watched it, because I went through them. I edited footage this week, and yeah, it doesn't make for exciting content, and it makes for longer videos that don't really need to be that long. So yeah, I really do want to move through this guy, because there's other projects that I have to get to, and I need to get to, and I want to get to. So yeah, Legion. I'm also looking forward to Vampires. Oh no, Sophie Wow. Greetings, mighty Lord of the Monkeys, Grandmaster of the Paintbrush, Guru of the Paint Pot, and fellow monkeys, Kris. Will you be painting the Sister of Battle as a Fresh Tip series? Yes, I will. You mean the big Adeptus Sororitas from McFarlane? Yes. I also have the Plasma Marine as well. I have that one, the artist proof. Apparently those are delayed. Apparently those were on that big boat that got stuck. But I think that's an excuse for a lot of businesses. Anybody goes, oh, well, we got shipping delays. Oh, yeah? Yeah, it was that big boat. That big boat in the Suez Canal? Yeah, our stuff was on that. You know what I mean? Like, it feels like, that's an excuse, for slacking. But what do I know? But yes, Sophie, I am going to paint it as Fresh Tips. And also, spoiler, I'm going to replace the helmet. Because in that little video I did, I talked about how I wasn't crazy about that helmet. And I'm not really super jazzed about Sister Battle helmeted heads. So for some of them, it works really well. I don't know, just something about them just kind of feels not the same as the rest of the armor, right? The rest of the armor has these really great curvatures, right? Like on the shoulder pads, right? They have upward sweeps. They have Gothic kind of corners to them, you know, like Gothic archways, you know. They feel very churchy, for lack of a better word. But the helmets, I don't know, they just feel kind of, they look like Iron Man, or not Iron Man, fucking Iron Giant. That's what they feel like. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like just kind of kerplunk, and it's got like, you know, So anyway, yeah, I'm gonna replace the head, and I've already ordered the replacement. Third party, Fleabay. But yeah, just kind of like what I did with the Space Marine, the Intercessor, right? I've got a Henry Cavill head, and I also have the Rock as well. And the Rock's going to get put on my other Intercessor coming in. Well, he's not an Intercessor, is he? Yeah, he's an Intercessor. I bought the Imperial Fist. Apparently those are on that boat too, apparently. I don't know. But whatever. I haven't gotten a confirmation email from Games Workshop yet saying, yeah, we have your order. Because I know a lot of people in Europe were getting that notification. I never got that notification. So, not that I'm like, oh, Games Workshop, but, you know, I'm kind of, hey, Games Workshop, like, what, WTF here. But anyway, yeah, so I'm going to replace that head. And I found a head that I'm kind of jazzed about. I was talking yesterday about it on Discord, so, yeah. I actually showed a picture of the head that I bought. So, yeah. Everybody knows. You all know. I'm sure you know. Because you're on our Discord, aren't you? You're on the Discord. You're in the Discord? Yeah. I'm pretty sure I've seen your name. Anyway. Ghost of Starman. 4 sprues of tiny parts. So basically heaven. Yeah. Like it is a bunch of little parts. And it all goes together so nicely. And again, like I said, like anywhere where there's seam lines and stuff like that, like most of them, they're covered over by other parts. And even as you clean it, you can pretty much snip the sprues, trim the nubs, and you know what I mean, and get it together. And you could do it in short order. If you're gaming with this guy, it's going to take you a bit. I would take the time to clean it properly, and you know, I still would recommend doing it in sub-assemblies, even if you're gaming with this model. But yeah, I mean, it has so many options. Like, it's a fantastic kit. Just on a model standpoint, right? Chock full of detail, tons of options, you know, and yeah, it goes together really well. And yeah, I mean, leaving it in sub-assemblies, and I noticed that lately with a lot of Games Workshop stuff, that working in sub-assembly is not as challenging as what it used to be with like pewter models and resin models, where things won't line up all the time. Like pewter models and resin models, famously, you know, even if they were good casts, the parts just, there's a big gap, it doesn't sit right, you know what I mean? All these things you have to correct. But with plastics, and because they're, you know, obviously designed in a CAD, you know, you can do them in sub-assemblies and they still go together, you know, flush. And yeah, they're fantastic. And so, anybody out there who's, you know, who wants a challenging model kit to put together, I definitely would recommend this kit. It's a lot of fun. It's a modeler's kit. It's a modeler's kit. That's pretty much all I can say, really. Anybody who enjoys putting models together, yeah. The painting, the painting's good too. Don't get me wrong, you know. But I mean, as I was doing it, I really wish I could have spent more time. I was sure I had some of my old Epic vehicles, because I was gonna, you know, I'm pretty sure I had a few Epic Rhinos lying around. I've looked around, just cursory kind of looking around. I haven't really done a deep dive into my bits, but Yeah, I was pretty sure I had some rhinos kicking around. I was going to put a rhino on the base. That was one of my plans. I still have some time to really kind of, Yoda my way through the bits boxes and stuff. But yeah. So, anyway. Ghost Starman Deluxe. I tend not to base large models like that just to avoid blocking details like that. Yeah, well, because, see, the thing is like, okay, on the legs here, the entirety of the foot, okay, all these toes are independent. These pistons, like, they look like they can move within the prescribed, what you would imagine could move, and they do. This ankle, this ball joint ankle, yeah, that can be pivoted. This piston here into what is like the Achilles tendon, this can go in and come out. So you can model this so that the foot, like, you can articulate this any which way you like. It's fully posable. The arms, everything. Like, it's even like the head moving into the torso here. Yeah, see, like the rockets still move. And that's where the arm plugs in. Anyway, the head, it's just a ball joint, right? But you can have that head any which way. Like, again, like the options, your imagination. And if you're into Titanicus, I mean, I think you're probably going to get this kit anyway. But, yeah. I wouldn't, because, it's not Eldar. I'm sure everybody's getting tired of hearing that one. Ghost of Starman makes you wonder how big an Imperator Titan would be if they bring one out. Well, I'd imagine an Imperator Titan's probably going to stand at least 2 more inches bigger than this guy. This guy's huge. This guy's huge. I've seen the Warlord Titan, like the Epic version and the 40K version. And yeah, an Imperator Titan, like, in the game, an Imperator Titan Warlord Titan used to stand about yay tall, and the Imperator Titan used to stand about yay tall. So he's about just over twice as tall. But it also had a castle on its head. So, if you had big flagpoles and stuff like that sticking out the top of your head, yeah, you'd be gigantic as well, or have the appearance of being super high. But realistically, like, it's really not that big. Like, most of that castle is just, it's a big freaking castle. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like it's the Titan itself, right? Well, it is, but it isn't. Anyway. Senor Pinor? I'm butchering that anyway, but I ordered my first mini from GW for my birthday on the 7th. I'm going to be painting some pre-Heresy Thousand Suns in Mark III armor. Wish me luck. Good luck. Send pics. I would highly, highly recommend that you concentrate on the fundamentals, right? Preparation, priming, base coating, right? Concentrate on those. Do not get caught up in trying to create really complex blends, the OSL, the non-metallic metal, all that stuff. Don't worry. You'll get to that point. Master the beginning, right? And everything else will fall into place. It takes a little bit, but as long as you keep going, keep trying, don't worry. You will make mistakes, but that's okay. Because each mistake you make is a learning opportunity. And that's good. That's good. So, yeah. But good luck. And send pics. Ariel. Got to go. Thanks for the stream. Already? Jeez, you just got here. Oh, crap. We're already 40 minutes in. Have I been gum flapping all this time already? Jeez Louise. Ben Ellis, not trying to get too deep, but Kris, you're not behind. In the end, this race is only with ourselves, dude. True. I agree. But as somebody who does not like to dwell on things too long, I like to kind of get moving on stuff. And yeah, there's other stuff. I mean, like, for God's sakes, man, I've got like Necromunda stuff that I'm chomping at the bit here to get to. And other projects are, like this one here. I'm going to be on this one for a bit. A couple weeks anyway. Videos are probably at least a month. You know what I mean? And I also had a really fantastic idea for video, not painting related at all, just a fun video that I've wanted to film. I have a few ideas. I've actually jotted them down just so that I remember to do them whenever I get around to doing them. And yeah, and because of a recent sale, you may notice that Sigvold is not on my shelf anymore. Somebody purchased them. Thank you. Hopefully it gets to them safe and sound. And yeah, so I took that opportunity to acquire more material and yeah, more equipment. And so that's what I did. And with this new equipment, actually, patrons will probably do a quick little video today, actually, if I've got time. If I've got time. But yeah, how can we ever have time unless we take time, right? Anyway. Brandon Taylor, the B-Man. Can you demonstrate on how to paint the purple gray dark Eldar flesh at one point? The purple gray of dark Eldar flesh? Yeah, I can do that. Haven't I done that? I may have done that on another platform, but I thought recently I showed something doing that kind of, yeah, on Sigvold, painting his flesh. I used purple in his flesh just to give him a slight off appearance, so he wasn't all the way healthy looking. Not healthy, but human. But I mean, yeah, I mean, if it's specific to Dark Elder, yeah, I mean, I totally can. Just remind me later. But yeah, no. Just send me another email saying, do Dark Eldar flesh. Thanks. Nerd. TheWannabePainter.com. Please make tutorial painting the balconies. Yeah, I do want to do the balconies, but unfortunately, oh, you mean like doing like really intricate something on the balconies? Yeah, I probably should. Because like on the shoulders, there's these little consoles, and like, why not, right? And because I was feeling kind of the pressure of trying to get it done for today, but then I kind of just like, I've got other stuff going on that, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, no, it would just, I could not dedicate enough time. And, you know, the remaining quiet about this stuff, you know, makes regular video production annoying. You know, doesn't make it too difficult, but, you know, so, yeah. But anyway. But yes, painting the balconies, yeah, I should. Well, I have ideas that I want to do on this guy. There is a color scheme that I'm following for this guy. So it's already a pre-established color scheme. I didn't even make this up. It's an established scheme. So, yeah. Because I didn't really want to think about it. All I had to think about was how I was going to execute. That was it. Ghost of Starman Deluxe ordered some stuff off the web store a few days ago, and they are apparently having delays. I'll probably end up picking up more stuff in person before it gets here. Cool, yeah. Sophie, wow. That Titan is definite paint certain areas while assembly. Yes, definitely. It is definitely one of those kits, like painting stuff before assembling. And I would strongly recommend using plastic cement to glue joins. And even if you do sub-assemblies and you paint and then you got to clear that off and then, you know, do sub-assemblies, I definitely would recommend that. Just because of all the tiny fiddly little parts. Super glue, yes, it'll hold, but super glue is brittle and, you know, yeah, don't do it. But yeah, definitely this is one of those kits that there's a bunch of areas that you should paint before you glue them into place, because otherwise it's a nightmare to get to. Like I said, the balconies on his love handles. What is that space where the love handles are? What do you call that? Right here. Like, I was gonna show you my love handles, but what is that? What is that called? That area? What is that? I don't even know what that's called. What is that called? Come on, people. You guys are smarter than me. Anyway. Ghost Starman Deluxe. Oh yeah, I got the Bastiladon. Came out in 14, I think. Modernish. And I've got that in 5 sub-assemblies, yeah. Bastiladon. Is that the Imperial Guard super heavy tank, or small super heavy tank? It's the one with the, not the big laser one, but it's the one, I don't know, I remember which one's the Bastillodon. Bastillodon? Bastille? Sophie Wild. Kris, have you done the gaming and canvas painting side of the room? I've missed a few episodes and not caught up yet as I've started binge watching the shows from the beginning. Have I done the gaming and canvas painting side of the room? Oh, you mean like my other studio space? I have been, just kind of puttering away with stuff. It's really right now that other space is more like when I'm doing kind of the videos and I have like, the Way the Brush logo in the background and you can see my display cabinets and stuff like that. It's more of a backdrop space. It's also my photo room. It's also a bit of a filming room and, but I plan on gaming in that room soon enough. And in fact, again, that's another one that I want to get to is some more gaming. And I think very, very soon, you're probably going to see me and my son. We are going to game. He's a gamer, and he's familiar with tabletop gaming because he used to love War Machine. And yeah, I mean, he still kind of loves War Machine. He likes the lore and everything. He plays Menoth, the Zealots, and yeah. So, but he's also a bit of a wise ass. So I think it'll probably be quite fun playing a game. And you know me, my battle reports will be no holds barred. And my boy is, unfortunately, he sounds like his dad. So you can imagine how these games are going to go. But he's a good dude and he's funny. So I think it'll go well. Ghost of Starman. The Bastillodon is one of the big lizardman dinosaurs. Oh, I thought it was an Imperial Guard thing. Fuck, I'm out of the loop, eh? It's kind of ankylosaur. Oh, is it that? Not the one with the big crystal on its back. I thought that was a plastic kit. Or is that what you're talking about? I think you said Forge World. Didn't you say it was Forge World? Oh no, I guess yeah. It was just a regular plastic kit. Sorry, I was, fuck do I know? Yeah, the ankylosaur, and he's got the big diamond on his back. Yeah. K-O-Ma. Hey, don't have much time to catch the whole show live. Just popped in to say hello. Jabba's Left Nut, Titanicus Muffin Top. Holy shit, it's a muffin top. It is. It's a muffin top, definitely. Because when you put the torso onto like the legs, yeah, see, he's this little love handles, right? What is that called though on our anatomy? What is that called? The love handle space. What is that called? But yeah, you can see how big it is. And I mean, he's just missing his armor panels that go up here. His big fuck off guns down here. There's a part right here that's got to go in there. I just left it off because there's all sorts of details on the inside here. Oh, and also it has like rockets and shit, right? But like this kit, I mean, like some of the parts, you can just press fit them together. Like they fit together so well. If you clean the parts and nubs and everything like that, yeah, it goes together really, really well. But it's a bazillion different, like I said, it's four big sprues of little parts. Yeah, there's some big parts. It's not like you're making, the Titan out of tiny little parts. It's not like you're riveting every panel into place. But I mean, it's quite a bit. It's a large kit. And like I said, for all you modelers out there who love good complex kits that go together really well, this is one of those kits. I know I sound like I'm shilling for this company, but it's like, I honestly, if I could have spent more time putting it together and carefully painting as well as I was assembling, yeah, I would have definitely like taken, say, 6 months to assemble this. Yeah, definitely. If I was, going to be really nitpicky about, the details and, if I was going to like say, enter this in the competition, make a diorama and whatever. Right. So yeah, definitely. But it's definitely one of those kits that, yeah, just assembling it and painting it. And especially if you took your time and got in all the little nooks and crannies. Yeah, this is one of those kits, man. This is one of those kits. I know some of you probably like, Kris, come on, shut up and put the Titan already. But It was a fun kit. I mean, I'm again, with modern GW stuff, the kits all go together so well, you know, they just do. But I mean, that's the benefit of working with, you know, CAD, right? Not like back in the day. I mean, like man, holy shit. Putting together some, like I have that old Greater Demon of Nurgle. I remember the arms. I remember because it used to be two halves. The belly, or no, it was the body was three parts. The front belly, where there's the big mouth thing. The back, where his big saggy bum is. And then his top, where he basically has his big saggy boobs. That all went together. That was a complete pain. I'm pretty sure I put that together with 2-part epoxy at the time. And yeah, it was... And it didn't go together well. And I had to still fill gaps and... Oh, man. And even... And that was in a time when I was really still learning a lot of stuff. You know, so I struggled, you know. Not like, you know, today I'm like, oh, whatever. And just, you know, confidently, like, master of everything kind of thing. But yeah, I guess as time goes on, you feel more and more confident with these kind of challenges. Like, you know, this kit's all fucked up and there's bubbles all over the place and it's warped. And yeah, no fucking problem. We're going to bend that, heat that up, breathe on it till it's warm and crank it into place. We'll pin, rivet, you know, we'll use 2-part epoxy, clear those bubbles, you know what I mean? Prime it. We're going to use the right primer. We're going to sand it, take the primer back off, you know, sand it smooth, prime it again. You know what I mean? Like, like all these things, right? It's just like, yeah, no problem. Fuck it. We're doing it. We're doing it, you know? But back then when I was young in my teenage years, oh, man. Just sweating. Just, oh, my God. How do I put this together? And then, you know, there was no internet then, so, you know, there was no internet. Well, there was internet, but there was no internet. But there was no internet. There was no internet. I know some of you probably don't even, like, some of you born don't even know what life was like before internet. You can't even fathom it, right? Just like I can't fathom life without TV or electricity, right? So, and there used to be people on this planet who remember those days before TV, before electricity. It wasn't that long ago that those people were still alive and could recall and tell you those stories. In fact, some of them probably still alive today. Because it'd at least be 100 years. No, well, TV before TV and shit, even like radar, stuff like that. Computers. No, I'm not deflating. Where the hell am I? I got thrown off by fucking Jabba's muffin top comment. Senor, what white acrylic paint would you recommend since Citadel paint likes to get chunky fast? Yes, the Citadel paints that have a lot of white content to them seem to get, you know, really cottage cheesy, you know. I'm not sure why that is. Ceramite white, yeah, it practically goes to like a dry paint. You know, if you've played with the Citadel dry paints, it almost goes like that almost. For white, I mean, I use a lot of golden high flow. See, it was sitting right on my desk. Golden high flow. I like this. It's in art stores. It's a North American paint. I don't know where you are, Senor, so I'm not 100% sure. There are many, many different brands of white acrylic paint. I mean, pick your flavor, really. But what I will say is Citadel Ceramite White, 2 coats on top of black, and it's a solid white. And I mean, I haven't played with every paint, but I'm not sure of many other paints that do that have that kind of characteristic to them, where you can apply it right on top of black and it's solid in 2 coats, like 2 thin coats, right? So, you know, realistically, it's how do you take care of that chunkiness, really? I mean, once you stir it with like a stir stick, it goes smooth. You just break those chunks up. But it's annoying. Yes, I know it's annoying, but yeah. I don't know. I mean, you have, so many paints out there, so many paint brands. You kind of can just, throw a dart, hit one, and try it, because I mean, if you're fed up with, the chunkiness, then yeah, any of the alternatives by comparison is going to feel better, right? So, it's hard. I mean, scale 75 is another good one that comes to mind. They dry nice and matte, Liquitex, even using like Liquitex ink, white ink, it's really good. Privateer Press, P3, those are really good. Coat d'Arms, I mean, Army Painter. There's a bazillion different brands. They're all acrylic, all water-based acrylic paints. They're all fairly comparable. Ceramite white, as far as whites are concerned, though, is probably one of my favorite, despite it being chunky. Like White Scar doesn't compare to ceramite white because they're both different paints. They're both different, formulations of the pigment to binder ratio. But yeah, I like ceramite white for its coverage. When I want to cover on top of something, I always use ceramite white. And that's why you always see it in videos, because I like the way it covers. 2 thin coats, and it covers on top of something completely black, right? How often do you get white to do that? You don't. But yeah, unfortunately, Senor, I don't really have like a definitive recommendation as far as a paint. Golden, Liquitex, Army Painter, scale 75. Pick your poison. I mean, if the chunkiness is the biggest factor, you'll be more satisfied with any paint essentially at that point, right? So, Ghost Star Mandalux, one of the sub-assemblies is literally just the big crystal. Yeah. Brandon, a waist? Yeah, but the love handles though. What is the love handles? Kid, pelvis? Isn't pelvis more? Is it considered? No, because your pelvis is more like the proper groin-ish area, right? With your hips, like that's your pelvis, right? It's the hips, I guess. Is it just hips? No, your love handles aren't the hips, though. What are the love handles called? Or that area? Anyway. Brandon Taylor, which brushes do you use? I just ordered some Broken Toad and looking forward to trying them out. I've never played with Broken Toad. I don't think so. I don't know, unless they go by other names. But mostly I use Citadel. Just because they're readily available. They're all over the place, And yeah, people complain about the price. But, I mean, when you start getting into, better brushes, you'll find that, yeah, they're all on par with each other. So, but I use Citadel. I use Army Painter. I use Winsor Newton Series 7, Rubelov I use. I also have what company was that? Oh, I got Vallejos. I got all sorts of brushes. I'm up to here in brushes. But like my favorite brush that Artis Opus is another good one. Artis Opus. I would recommend Artis Opus. I've used their number 1. I use this for eyes. This is their number 1. They have a 0 and a 00. Yeah, and I think there's like 5. But anyway, these Artis Opus brushes, I like them. I like them a lot. The number 1, it does almost everything for me. I could do everything from base coating to eyeballs, and it's just the number 1. I don't even use the other brushes. And so yeah, I use that a lot. But one of my favorites is this old Citadel heavy metal brush. It's got a brown lacquered handle. I have 2 of them, or maybe 3. But anyway, it's got really great long bristles to it. I do eyeballs with this as well. I do some base coating and eyeballs and everything like that with this. This essentially is the number one. Essentially, that's what this is. The standard brush is a number one, as you'll see. But I mean, the number one here, because I've been using it for quite a while, since Artist Opus came out, I've been using this. And yeah, I mean, you can see there's the lengths of bristles. I'm pretty sure this number one was probably close to this bristle length. But yeah, just over time, just wear and tear. And that's why it's important to take care of your brushes, especially when you're dropping premium price tag on brushes. Got to take care of them. Otherwise, you know what I mean? Like what's the point of buying, you know, I don't know, a big expensive car and then never putting gas in it, never cleaning it, never changing its oil, never, you know, checking tire pressure, never taking care of it? What's the point? It's just going to break down on you and you go, oh, that's a piece of shit. You know, it's a piece of shit. Would you take care of it? No. Well, that's why you short-sightedly think it's a piece of shit. Because you never took care of it, right? So, you know. And yeah, there's even cheap-ass brushes out there that work really well as well. You know, you go to any art supply place, head over to the watercolor section, find a number one and 0 and 00, and, you know. Like, I've used Winsor Newtons for a long time. And I have a 0, 00, and a 000. I hardly ever use them. I should get back into using them more because they got a shorter bristle on, the miniature series anyway. And yeah, but I'm thinking about picking up another Winsor Newton. I was thinking about just picking up a number one Winsor Newton. But I know like there's like Da Vinci, there's Raphael. I've heard really great things about the Da Vinci and Raphael's. Rosemary and Co. I know they're big ones in this, you know, niche. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of good. If there's sable brushes, you know, and you're getting into glazing and stuff like that, yeah, you want a sable. I always recommend a sable until they synthesize sable house, the structure of a sable hair, which I'm sure we're probably not too far off from. Essentially because, you know, people, you know, complain about the treatment of these animals, which, you know, you can go either way on. But yeah, because I have synthetic brushes in my workflow, but they don't get used that often because I'm usually not playing around with a lot of solvent-based paints, you know, harsher type paints, enamels, you know, regular solvent-based acrylics and, you know, enamels, stuff like that, right? I'm not using those kinds of paints often. And so that's when I use my synthetics, because I don't use good sable hair brushes on those kinds of paints, because the cleaners will just dry the hairs right out, make them brittle, and, you know, they're no good. And that's really the big enemy of good sable haired brushes, because it's a natural hair and you want to take care of it, right? Just like your real hair, you take care of it, make sure it's nice and conditioned, cleaned, you know what I mean? And it, you know, it looks good, right? Same thing with paintbrushes. Got to take care of them. Got to take care of them. Take care of your brushes. Legion, episode 341. Holy shit, it's a muffin top. Sophie Wild, episode 341. Titan sized. Doesn't matter. Does matter. Titan size does matter. James and Ken. Afternoon, Kris. Afternoon, everyone. Afternoon, James and Ken. Excuse me. Ghost of Starman. Whenever I messed around with the old metal kits, I always end up wishing I had a blowtorch to weld them together. Yeah. I know. Wouldn't it be fun if there was a good way of, like, welding metal parts or even resin parts? Because, like, with plastic kits, right, we have, you know, plastic cement, which acts like welding. It melts the plastic and you can bond the parts together, right? Wouldn't it be fun if there was something like that for pewter, other than actually, you know, melting it? But I mean, like, controlling that amount of heat, that tiny little specific area to bond those areas, or even resin for that matter, right? It would be fun. It would be fun. I agree. Coma, Broken Toad, Winsor Newton Series 7, Artist Opus, Raphael. Oh, almost the same. I use all those brands and several others. Yeah. Reziel, Life Before Internet was pretty good, honestly. Was it? You sure? Derek Luderus. Liquitex White Ink. Yeah, Liquitex White Ink's another good one. Yeah. Chimera, Andrea, Artist Acrylic White. Yeah, Golden High Flow is also good. Much thinner. Yeah, I mean, like, it paints like brushes. It's completely subjective. One person can tell you, yeah, it's really great. Another person can tell you that same product, it's crap. Who's right? Who's wrong? Well, it's kind of, it's almost like politics. It's almost like politics, right? Well, which do you agree? Right? And, we have this all or nothing approach to a lot of these kind of things in the world today. And so it's like, well, these are the best brushes. Are they? Because they don't do this, they don't do that, they fall apart here, they don't, this is the manufacturing process, when I'm, drawing, the brittle hairs fall out all the time. You know what I mean? Like, there's many different reasons. And then, of course, you could always claim, well, it's a bad batch. It's just like paints. If there's anything fucked up about a paint, probably bad batch. Which is a legit, comment to make. But, it's not terribly helpful. It's not terribly insightful. But, when you run through the gambit of possibilities, what were the other options, Plus, too, I mean, like, when somebody asks me a question about something that's gone awry on their project, yeah, well, I need all the details so that I can pin down accurately as possible, but it also requires you to be very conscious of what you're doing when you're working on your models and your painting and the steps you take, and being consistent, which is something that I talk about all the time, is being consistent, right? Be consistent about how you take care of your brushes, how you draw paint out of the paint pots, or how much paint you lay on your palette, or how much, how hard or fierce you use your brush soap, or, or re-rinsing your brushes, or all these factors play an important role as you develop as a miniature painter. All these things are important. It's not just one thing. It's, and people really want this quick and fast solution to whatever, and it's not that easy. Just like real life, it's not that easy. It's many little things that have to come into play, and if you're not following everything, you're not going to get the same result. It's like cooking, so many things. There's so many variables at play. Ghost Star Mandalux, I like Vallejo's Surface Primer personally. Yeah, see, and I used to be a big fan of Vallejo's Surface Primer until I started playing around with the black. And the black would get chunky on me. Even in the airbrush, it gets super gummy. When I moved over to Style Res, gloss black, I mean, even if it was a bright model, I still kind of want to prime it gloss black. Not that it makes it for a very super effective painting for just opaque colors, but for metallics, supreme. So, yeah. Senior, I got the starter kit, so I only have Corax White at the moment. Yeah, it's fine. Just find an old toothpick or a little stir stick or something that isn't going to deposit material. I mean, a toothpick, yeah. I mean, you could get some wood particles, fibers in there. You're probably better off just cutting like a piece of sprue, your sprue, just cutting a blank piece, just tapering it off a bit with your blade, and give your paint pot a good thorough mixing, right? And then just wipe it off, and you can use it again next time you're using the paint, right? But yeah, I like Ceramite White, or is it Corvax White? Corvax White? Either way, the Citadel White, yeah, they do tend to get chunky. Why that is, I'm not 100% sure. It's got to be something in their manufacturing, because every paint that has like that white in it, they tend to get chunky. Don't know why. It's something about it. And I'm sure plenty of people have notified Games Workshop of that, and I'm sure Games Workshop's aware of it, and I'm sure someone is on the job. Maybe. Or maybe I'm being naive. I don't know. Rezio. The area is called the obliques. The obliques. See? Rezio. Thank you. The obliques. Love handles. The obliques. That's it, right? The obliques. Okay. Got it. Thanks. Okay. So, on the Titan, the obliques, it's going to be a pain in the ass to get to that little balcony in there. Anyway. B-Man. Thanks. I'll check out Artist Opus. Broken Toad are comparable in price to Citadel. Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with Citadel. Honestly. I mean, most of the brushes are a blend, but that just makes them a little bit more of a universal adapter for whatever you're painting. And they're a little bit more forgiving than a pure sable. Pure sables tend to be very soft. They got good spring, any of the really good ones, but they tend not to have a lot of firmness in them versus Citadel brushes, which often have a blend to them, and they often will just go right back pointing forward, where some sables, they'll curve pretty easily. So, yeah. But you got to take care of them. You got to wash them and condition them. And especially if you're dropping, $20 on a brush, which, yes, you can. I mean, shit. Some Winsor Newton brushes, man, they're upwards of $100. Now, mind you, we're talking some big fucking brushes, but, yeah. But anyway. Sophie, while I use the Humbrol brushes as wash brushes, they are very cheap, but always keep their tip and clean very easily. Yeah. I'd imagine Humbrol brushes are probably synthetic brushes, because Humbrols are enamels. But yeah, you're using any kind of spirits or whatever to clean your bristles. And yeah, I mean, always use synthetics when working with more harsher paints. Water-based acrylics and watercolor, right? That's why these sable hair brushes are from watercolor. And when you're getting into glaze painting with watercolor or with acrylic paints, it's more akin to watercolor. So that's why the brushes are all basically watercolor brushes. So if you're going to an art supply place, yeah, just go into their watercolor section and look at the brushes they have for watercolor. Find something that's like a number 1 or smaller. Get one of those. Try it out. You might surprise yourself with how nice, even the synthetics, some of the synthetics, how nice they are. So. James Kent, if you get two guys talking about paint brands, the only thing they will agree on is that the third guy is wrong. Okay. I think that goes for pretty much everything, right? No fucks given. My opinion on certain paints changed when I order them straight from the manufacturer. Paint the manufacturer to the store, then you're buying and painting could be years. Oh, you mean like when they're sitting on the shelf? Yeah, like it could be years before it sits on the shelf. And yeah, and you know what? Like, I don't know if Games Workshop operates like that. Like when they make a batch paint, how long it sits in their warehouse before it gets moved out to locations or whatever. I have no idea how long that is. I'm sure they factor that in when they make their paints because, again, Citadel paints are more closer to a heavy-bodied paint, right? It's a thick, greasy paint. And I'm sure that's why they go for that kind of consistency in their paint, is because they know it's going to sit for a bit, right? Even despite the fact that when you go and buy a Citadel paint, you'll see it separating, right? Like metallics famously will separate. That's because of the density of the pigment, really. That's just, and the nature of gravity pulling on those pigments. Unavoidable. No paint is free from gravity pulling at the pigment and separating it from its medium. How quick it does that is a different story, but every paint will separate. Pigment and medium will separate. Except the solvent-based stuff. Even the solvent-based stuff, yeah, it separates pretty damn quick too. Because it's even thinner bodied. A lot of solvent paint, like enamels and stuff like that, yeah, they tend to be, well, I guess it depends. Because, I mean, some tester paints were pretty damn thick. But, anyway, yeah. Every paint separates, I just give it a good shake and good to go. Senior, it's probably because of high pigment count. Yeah, definitely. B-Man, I put steel BBs from a shotgun shell in my paint pots. Helps to mix the paint better while shaking the pot. Yes, although I really would not recommend using regular BBs or even shotgun shell BBs. Because even some stainless steel can corrode over time and it will contaminate your paint. I've recently bought a whole bunch of glass, 5mm glass beads, and I put them all in my contrast paints and washes, and I even threw them in some of the Citadel metallic paints, and they worked just fine. There was a shared concern from Coma and others that the glass wouldn't have that weight to move around inside the paint pot, but it moves around just fine. I have not added them to all my paints. Some of the paints I have, like Citadel paints, getting old. I'm going to have to replace them soon anyway. So, yeah. And they're getting low. So, I'm not really that concerned. But the contrast paints works wonderfully. Like this one here. Anybody who owns ultramarine blue, yeah, look how bright blue it is on the bottom. And look how dark it is on the rest of it. Yeah, I put this on my paint mixer. And not even 30 seconds. This is thoroughly mixed. And it's got a glass bead in it. Oh, you probably can't hear the bead. Wait, let's see. There, you hear that little clackety clack? That's that glass bead in there. But yeah, even that little shaking of it didn't really do much. Well, I can kind of see the bottom. Another one is the Apothecary White. Apothecary White, whew, that separates real fast. Again, any of the colors that have a bit of a white to it separates. So whatever it is with GW, whatever white they're using. And I can only assume they're using titanium white or whatever synthetic approximate of it is these days. I have no idea. From what I understood, though, talking with them when I was, I got to visit them at their headquarters, because I was quite surprised because, like, it's titanium white. And anybody who, if you open up, ceramite white or any of the really white paints, right? You get that dark layer of medium on the top. If you ever open it up, like before shaking it, you open it up and you see like there's dark medium inside there. It's like, this is a white paint. How is there dark medium in there, right? And it's because it's carbon. It's the black. They're putting carbon in there. The titanium white, the way the structure of titanium white, as far as the pigment's concerned, to get such even coverage, the titanium particles, right, they align, but there's a gap, and it's big enough for carbon, and so the carbon goes there, and that gives you that solid coverage. That's what that black in the paint is. It's carbon, because it's titanium white and carbon. They just a tiny amount just to fill the gaps, and that's what gives it that solid coverage. At least that's the way it was explained to me from G-Dubs. But yeah. Not verbatim. I was paraphrasing, but but you get the point. Anyway. But yeah, I would caution about using BBs, even like copper BBs, stainless steel. The best option is plated, nickel plated. The stainless steel should work as well, but I don't know. I've heard, some just kind of corroding after time. It shouldn't, but yeah. Another one was hematite beads, 5mm beads. Hematite's is inert and doesn't react. And same with glass. Glass is inert, so that's why I went with glass, because I didn't want anything interacting with my paints, right? Especially the thin body paints, because it'll contaminate. Reziel, I definitely have some love handles, but my ass is also so big you might not notice. Win? Is it a win? If it's a win for you, man. If you got it, flaunt it, girl. Fire Drake 18. Hello, Kris and peeps. Do you do a video on how to restore paint, or am I that age where senility is close personal friend? I have done one on the other platform. I thought did I do one for my channel recently? No, you know what? I don't think I did on my channel. Does anybody know? I don't even know if anybody knows. I'm going to check my playlist here real quick. Probably not. Maybe is it fresh or just the tip? Because I do the two series, right? I do just the tip and fresh tip. And the stream goes a little wonky, it's because I'm farting around with stuff. You know what? No, I don't think I have. Like restoring dried out paint. Was that what, that was the question? What was it? Yeah, restore paint. Yeah. Because I have done a video on restoring paint. I did it for Mini Wargaming many moons ago. But I thought I had done one similar, or like an updated version, because that one was a pretty old video. I did that like I think in 13. But I mean, the information's still relevant. Any tutorial, for the most part, that I've done, the information is still relevant to today, as painting miniatures, the techniques we use, and you know, all that jazz. It's unchanged in centuries. Even our color wheels, even the way we interact with color, and I mean, like, all of these things have not changed in hundreds and hundreds of years. The materials might change, and you know, but not really. I mean, we still use brushes with bristles on the end, right? I mean, we might figure out a new synthetic way of doing something, but you know. No, I thought I did. No, I just went through the whole playlist and I didn't see anything. So, yeah, I guess it's probably something I'll have to have a look at. Holy crap. 25 after 1 already? When I last looked at it, it was 40 minutes. And now we're an hour and a half into this thing. Is it me? Is there large gaps in the show where I'm just staring blankly at the camera? I'm sure there are, but but yeah, I have done a video on restoring paint. I bet you if you just look up restoring paint, you'll find it. But in a nutshell, if you're using Citadel paint, okay, your little paint pot, just take like Lamian medium and just add a couple drops. Give it a good mix. Check consistency. Add a couple more drops. Give it a good shake. You know, just continue to add more medium. I recommend medium as opposed to just simply using water, because again, water, you're adding another element into the water-based paint, where I'm sure there's probably a certain amount of water in paint, but again, I'm not there when they make the shit, so I can't say for certain. But yeah, I just add medium, give it a mix, give it a shake, whatever it is. Check consistency. If it's not to where you're at, add a couple more drops, and just do that until you've built it up. And again, like I said, with finding a stir stick or something like that, again, I've often just used a piece of sprue. I just cut a piece of sprue, taper it off, you know, and then just give the paint pot a quick mix, you know. James Kent. You shake hard enough you can hear the beads rattle. Ahem. What? No fucks given. Well, you did spend 30 minutes talking about love handles and muffin tops. That's right. I was talking about that for quite a while. Kid. When GW Ceramic White arrives in my country, it is almost solid, and even a vortex mixer can't restore it. Some for liquid green stuff that is solid when I open the bottle. Now I use other brands. Yeah, that's annoying. Definitely when you buy a paint, and that's the case, you definitely should bring it back to the store and exchange it. But of course, if every thing is like that, also it could be how long that product sat on the shelf. I mean, I remember last time I bought liquid green stuff. It was solid as well. It didn't take long to get solid. I was like, and again, I stopped using it because it was annoying the fuck out of me. But yeah, and it wasn't green stuff because it was more like a paint. It's more like a paint. It's it's not. It's deceptive that it's green stuff. We equate it with green stuff because green stuff is a 2-part epoxy, which is quite durable. Depending on its mixture, it can be quite hard or quite soft. But you can always blade it or sand it. And liquid green stuff yeah, it'll rip right off the model surface, especially if you know, you haven't primed the model yet or anything like that. Yeah, it's a pain in the ass. I'm not. That's probably one of my least favorite products from Games Workshop is liquid green stuff. It's just a pain in the ass to use. I don't use it anymore, and I also don't like it for gap filling because it shrinks, it reduces when it dries. Right. So if you form it over a gap, it'll when it dries it'll dip, and I don't like that. I've been for gap filling and stuff like that. I use Vallejo's modeling putty, which is actually marble dust in a binder, and that doesn't reduce when it dries. And in fact, you can pretty much almost sculpt with it. Not really, but like if you leave like little peaks on a surface, those peaks stay, right? It doesn't reduce when it dries. So I really Vallejo modeling putty for cleaning up hair-sized gaps. Yeah, that's right. Otherwise, big gaps on a model, 2-part epoxy. Mix it up, slap it on, right? Be done with it. But yeah. Fire Drake 18. Sweet lady senility is a temptress. Yeah. It'll be a fun ride when I hit that. When I hit that. When I hit old... I'm hitting old sweet lady senility. I'm hitting that. Razia, Kris, has been there been any progress on your mega-sized Gundam? No. Which is, again, why I want to get back to a lot of my projects. I've just been busy with a lot of other things, and, you know, yeah, I just, again, behind. I'm behind on a lot of this stuff. And, project like this, as fun as I'm having, is still a bit of a pain, because it's kind of disruptive to my workflow. Again, I don't paint for fun, right? See, there's a big difference between a lot of you guys and me, right? A lot of you paint to relax, enjoy. It's a hobby for you. For me, this isn't a hobby, and I don't paint for fun. I don't paint models for fun, you know? So, yeah. The wannabe painter.com, or painter.dom. I said .com last time. The wannabe painter Dom. I can read. Was off a few minutes. Are we still talking about love handles? Called them hams on my wife once. Not my smartest move. No, I'd imagine not. What's that thing on the horse, on the saddle? Right? What's that buckle right in front of your crotch? What is that called? It's not called a horn, is it? Anyway, yeah, don't refer to it as that either. Anyway, no fucks given. Vallejo acrylic plastic putty is better. The plastic putty? I don't think I've played with the plastic putty. It might be the same shit. Now it's cracking medium. My label to my plastic putty is gone because you just squeezed the shit right out of this bottle, right? What's this? My metal medium. What's this one? Thinner. Gloss. Ink. Primer. Fuck, where's... Satin. What the... I thought I had a few bottles of this kicking around. Guess I don't. I thought wrong. Wait, what's this one? Nope. Oh well. Not a huge issue. Yeah. I thought it was called plastic putty. I was gonna read the label, but I'm pretty sure I had 2 bottles of damn shit kicking around. What's this one? No. I'm getting annoyed. Anyway, yeah. I'll look into it. Maybe I'll pick up a bottle if it's a different shit. But yeah, the plastic putty that I use, it's not plastic. It's just, well, maybe it is called plastic putty. I said, are we talking about the same thing? But yeah, it's got a marble dust in it. That's what its ingredients are. It's a marble dust, and it doesn't reduce. It's really good stuff. But yeah. Ghost of Starman Deluxe, Way of the Brush, episode 341. It'll be a fun ride when I hit that. Might have said that to her once, too. I like a ghost. I'm using it. We're going with that. Probably get me banned. It's okay. Get me demonetized. I don't give a shit. You know, oftentimes there's nothing more dangerous than a person who does not give a shit. Often. Anyway. Oh, okay. Holy moly. Inquisitor. It is a horn. Okay, it's a horn. All right. Kid, think the Vallejo one comes in a tube with a nozzle. Well, a tube? Yeah. I'm not 100% sure. I know mine comes in a bottle, like a regular Vallejo bottles. So, yeah. No fucks. It's probably the same shit. I like it because it doesn't lose much volume and you can use a wet brush to smooth. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But doesn't get hard enough to sand. I've sanded it. Maybe when you add too much water to it, maybe it breaks its surface. But I've sanded it and it sands fine. Mind you, I use like 180 grit little sanding sticks, so it's very, very fine sanders. But anyway, yeah. Reziel, I have said this. You have said this? Aaron Seach, episode 341, Muffin Tops and Love Handles. Oh my. Ghost of Starman, if Kris gets banned from YouTube, the monkeys revolt. Ben Ellis, episode 341, Pigment Procrastination. Oh, that's deep. That's deep. Fire Drake 18, episode 341, Who Doesn't Like Ham? What? Anyway, okay. Yeah, we got 25 minutes left of the show. And I was going to jump over to the Instagram side of things, but I think first we'll jump over to the pre-order shit from G-Dubs. Because, yeah, it's this Warhammer Underworld starter set. This is another one I was considering getting into. My son, he's, you know, like I said, he's really fan of War Machine. And this kind of has a bit of that kind of element to it. And the models that have come out for Warhammer Underworlds are just really, really fun. For example, like these goddamn vampires. They're just freaking pretty looking models. Every model, other than maybe the guy standing kind of just with his big mace or whatever, he's kind of, average. But the other three are really cool. The big bat guy, the character with the two swords, and Vlad in the front there. He's pretty darn cool. Oh yeah, okay, there we go. 190 Canadian for the War Master Titan. It's not a cheap kit. It's not a cheap kit. Oh, we even get transfer sheets. Oh, some Blood Bowl. Some Blood Bowl. Oh, the refs, the dice. Oh, the nobles are available now. Ah. Are we on the same window? Yeah, we are. Okay. Oh, the Orkies. The packs. Siege of Terra, Lost and the Damned map. Cool. And some books. Okay. And then the French version, because I'm on the Canadian side. And then the Cursed City stuff's all sold out, of course. I think it was sold out last week, wasn't it? Very cool. I mean, it is. It is what it is. But yeah, so it's the vampires. The vampires are out. And the War Master Titan. Yeah, the vampire dudes, I like that bat dude. The only guy I'm not, super jazzed about is Buddy with the mace. That's the only one. It's just a pose. It's just, I mean, it's cool. And, but it's not as fun as, like, Vlad, who's got his sword. And he's like, And then the other character with the two swords, she's kind of, like, in a duel or something. And then the big bat dude, he's just kind of, I don't know. He's doing things. He's going places. He's doing things, All right. Just a quick check on my comments. Sophie Wild Monkeys, what do you want? and we all go, uh-oh, and wave huge brushes in the air like the film 300. The 300 monkeys. I'm just going on a stroll with 300 monkeys. If I could pull off a bit of a Gerard Butler type of accent, well, was it Scottish? So, yeah. But anyway, I haven't watched 300 in a long time. Maybe I'll give it a watch this weekend. Anyway, let's head over to the Instagram side of things. I don't have a theme song for this, so it's Instagram. Yay. Have I seen a lot of stuff? Anyway, where the hell is the new stuff? Jeez, they keep expanding. Oh, here we go. Most recent. Boom. Disco Mini Painter. Am I on the right? Yeah, we're on the right window. Oh, shit. Okay. Disco Mini Paper. Wow. Mini Painter. Work in progress on Medusa from Loot Studios. Done the skin with the green undertone to hopefully tie it in with the green snakes. Still plenty to do yet, though. Cool. All right, well, let's give it a like and let's have a look. So there's lots to do. Very interesting. And it's a bust of some sort. It looks pretty big, actually. Oh, we got the little snakies all masked off. We got some tape going on, doing the flesh tones. Very, very nice. I was going to say, you put the flesh, then put the green down? Oh, no, you put the green down first, then put the flesh. What sort of primer did you use? I mean, like on the arm and everything like that, and like on the skin, I don't know if it's just the way the light is playing on that surface. It almost has like a texture, or was the model have that texture? I don't know, because I mean, like the fine texture of like her dress, like I can see like the threads, and like it looks like cloth, and so I can't imagine that primer was putting that texture on that surface. So was it the sculpt? Is she supposed to have a slight texture to her? I don't know. Like the coloring on the snakes. I don't know. If I was to do this kind of bust, I don't know if I would do green snakes. I'd probably do a different colored snake. Oh, excuse me. Nothing wrong with green. Just, yeah. It just feels kind of, stereotypical. But yeah, what sort of primer did you use? Because like I can see it on her face, but like the details of her dress do not seem to be obscured. So I don't know. Maybe it is the sculpt. It's not distracting or anything, or too distracting, I should say. But yeah, really nice work so far, though. And if this is something that, like, it looks pretty darn big. It looks like it's about like 4 inches tall, maybe 5. But I like the face. I like the work on the face, although the values going on her face. But I mean, I imagine you're probably not there yet on the rest of like her chest and like the shadows under her breasts and all that. It's just the values on her face just seem a little deeper and richer than what's going on the rest of her. Yeah. But really good. I mean, it's work in progress. So I mean, like, we're not looking for the final result yet. This is Geo painted. Probably my best paint job painted in subassembly. Unfortunately, there's a few gaps that I couldn't close when putting the model together. I can live with it. I can live with it. I like it. Like overall, it's a solid effort. It is mostly clean. like the work on the armor of his chest. I think you could have probably reduced the intensity on the eyes a bit. The eyes are immediately, where my eye is drawn. And yeah, I don't think that the white of that eye needs to be that big. I mean, I'm sure at arm's length, it probably is really, really good. I mean, like from at this angle here, like it looks really good. Your work on the sword is good. I like the little lightning. I like how it's got that really kind of staticky, like multiple, fingers of electricity moving about. I like that. Very good stuff. I like the base. I like that. How did you do that base? What is that? What is that vine material? Is that woodland scenic? That vine, or did you deliberately lay all that in, or is that an actual plant? Yeah, I like that vine work on your base. I want to know what that is. Geo. But really good work. I think just the white in the eyes, reduced intensity. Like kind of some areas, I think, being a little bit more careful. But I mean, if you painted this for tabletop, but you wanted to have a really good tabletop, then yeah, mission accomplished. You did it. If this is something that you were, wanting to enter into competitions, I'm sure actually you probably would place pretty well. But yeah, there's some other areas. I mean, like if I was being really, really critical of stuff, yeah, there's a few things that I would, obviously, like the eyeballs, the vials. Your vials are your horizon lines, obviously in the wrong direction. Well, not obviously, but I mean it's in the wrong directions. Probably would have painted the gemstones, rendered them more with more depth than what is done here. But I mean, that's minor shit. I mean, like if you're painting this up for a tabletop and you just wanted a really good tabletop, but take your time and spend some time with the model and give it its due attention, then no, you mission accomplished, bud. You did it because it looks good. The only thing I would think of is the eyes. That's the only thing that jumps out at me at first. This is from our good buddy Seach and Destroy, playing around with my photo box. Your box. This is a game changer for taking pics of my models. Mini photo shoot with the Rothgorns Man Trappers. Gee, that's a mouthful. Let's give it a like. Alrighty. So, we got the dude out with his pooch. Nice work on the pooch. I like the little stripes. I like that. Oh, you got the little bit of gore in the snow, like he was eating something. That's a nice touch. I think a finer edge on the silver, on the chains, and like the cutting edges, just to bring a bit more attention to them. Little gobos. Nice little gobos. I think a bright color in the eyes. I don't know if they are a bright color in those eyes, but I think a bright color in those eyes would really help make those stand out. I like your work on the beastie though. It's really good. I like that nice touch of a little blood in the snow like that. Like he's been munching on bits. I like that. But yeah, on the metals, I probably would go with a fine edge highlight on like some of those corners, like for the harpoon itself, to draw more attention to that, and the chains, like anything that is they're supposed to be metal but is well used will often be very shiny, right? Like you look at like construction equipment, like a dozer or whatever, the hydraulic pistons. There's constant movement on that metal, so that's why it's always shiny, as opposed to other areas of the equipment where it can be quite rusty looking, right? And it's that kind of thinking that you know, anything where the surface, the metal is constantly being, you know, contacts being made or it's being worn away or anything like that, you know, rust wouldn't gather on that surface. Excuse me. Sorry, that snuck up on me. You know, rust wouldn't gather on that surface. Like, for example, like his little, you know, thrower thing. You know, like rust would gather in between, but probably wouldn't be on the spike, like the spiky ends of it. The harpoon itself, the cutting edges of it would have bright silver, as opposed to maybe in the nooks and crannies and behind the arrowhead, there might be, you know, rust and things like that. You know, just that it's just that kind of attention to, you know, the, I don't know, it's just the kind of attention to details that, you know, obviously will bring breathe life into the sculpt. Heretic Scott. Oh, it's already got a like. Oh, I think because we were already looking at this from last week. Oh, we all caught up. It was only 3 this week. Okay, that's okay. Yeah. Yeah. See, like the eyes, like even looking at it from this distance, it's a little bit intense on that, on the white of the eyes. But thank you all. And if you want me to have a peek at your Instagram photos, use the hashtag #WayOfTheBrush, right? Hashtag #WayOfTheBrush, and yeah, it'll show up on this little segment of the program. Where am I? Sophie, have to go Brill episode, Kris. Thank you, Sophie. See you later. Geo. Hi, Kris. Hi. Thanks for the comments. Means a lot. The vines, I think, are from Army Painter. Army Painter? Okay. Yeah. Is it the vines where it's like, it almost looks like a scouring pad, but you got to pull it apart and then do it? Is that it? Because I have that stuff. It just looked different on yours. It looked like there was more like texture to each of the little leaves. So I wasn't too sure, because the ones I have, they're kind of like solid color. And yeah. And I thought maybe it was something else, but yeah, maybe it is. Like mine are from, I'm pretty sure mine are from Woodland Scenics, and so maybe Army Painters, they go about a different process. But yeah, Geo, I agree with the direction on the blood, but was copying the GW box. Really, the GW box for Mephiston, they have the blood flowing like that. Really, not that I don't believe it. I just need to see for myself. I do believe you. No, that's Dark Angels. Blued Angels. Blued Angels. Like, wouldn't Mephiston be like the first thing when you click Blood Angels? Wouldn't it? Astorath? Is Astorath the Grim still a thing? He's still part of the army? Holy shit, where's Mephiston? Mephiston, there he is. Oh yeah, they did paint it like that, eh? Interesting. So, yeah, that is very interesting that the vials are done like that. Maybe to maybe they're representing the movement. See, I would think that'd be kind of counterintuitive. The vial on the far right feels a bit more natural, as opposed to the other 3 on the left. And in fact, I would, like, if you were going to do that with an extreme angle in the vial, I would have done it the other direction, because the way of the flow of the cloth, it feels more like those vials are being pressed and they're going left, so which would make the fluid gather to the right of how we're observing it. But yeah. It's a fun model. I like this model. Mephiston, I mean, like, he is a fun character. Of course, you know, he looks like, you know, Dracula, of course. You know, Bram Stoker's Dracula. The Ford Coppola film. You know, the armor with that, you know, looks like the striated muscle kind of thing. But anyway, yeah, interesting. I never noticed. Again, I never really examined, you know, the paint job from Games Workshop, I just, I don't know. I just don't do it a lot. Geo, it's the Poison Ivy. Army Painter, it's Poison Ivy. Send me a link, Geo. Just send me an email or if you're on our Discord. I don't know if you're on the Discord, but yeah, send me an email, the link. Maybe I'll pick up some. Because I like the way it looks on your base. I really like that. And, when I see good ideas, yeah, I totally steal them. Ghosty Starman Deluxe looks to me like blood's meant to be sloshing around. Yeah, I think instead of having such an abrupt, angle to it, it's like they're being forced in a direction, if they made them look more turbulent, I think that would have been a nice touch. If it was more turbulent looking in the container, like there's more kind of frothing or whatever. I don't know. Does blood froth in a vial? I don't even know. I get blood drawn actually fairly often. The sugar beaties, and yeah. I don't ever recall blood getting frothy. I mean, if you whip it right up, yeah, it'll froth, but in a vial. Anyway. Everybody's like, what the fuck are we talking about? Blood in vials. Are you mad, man? Good God, man. Are you mad? Anyway. Time for an email. If you're wearing headphones, turn them up or down, because here it comes. It's the element of surprise. Surprise! Email time. Email time.
It's getting cold. What?
Somebody put a cigarette out in it. Oh, I'm done. This one is from our good buddy James of Kent. Thank you is the title of the email. Hey Kris, been thinking about how to write this for a couple of weeks, and the live show or Discord felt wrong, so sending this instead. Oh geez, is this supposed to be private? James of Kent, is this supposed to be private? Am I sharing something private? Ooh. I didn't read this actually. I thought it was more for Way of the Brush. That's what, I don't often read the Way of the Brush emails because I just make sure there's nothing, too inappropriate. But, yeah. Anyway. It starts sad, but bear with me. Oh, Jesus. So I am an outreach worker for rough sleepers. These tend to be guys with varied complex needs, usually a mix of mental health and drug misuse issues. One of the things I try to do is get them enthusiastic about how their lives can look if they make changes, which isn't always easy. No, I'd imagine not. One of my guys has 20 years of on-off crack and heroin addiction and hasn't had a home for a decade. Oh my Lord. Almost exactly a year ago, he told me that he had hoped each bag he injected would be his last. The one that would finally kill him. He had just been evicted from a temporary accommodation as he was making crack in there. Jesus H. Christ. One afternoon, just as Indominus came out, he was begging near the Games Workshop store in town. He was in a bad mood and explained that on top of everything else, GW had messed up Necrons. It's kind of amazing that this fellow who has no home, who's addicted to crack, he's got the opinion that Games Workshop fucked up Necrons. That's kind of amazing. Anyway, as the new ones didn't have the green rods, and looked terrible. Turns out he used to have 3,500 points of them, which he had sold for drugs and missed them and the hobby. That was my in with him, We talked a lot about it, and I promised if he could start his recovery, I would buy him a box of Necrons to get him started again. Wow. So, fast forward a few months, he is in supported housing, doing really well, recovering from addiction. I reminded him of my promise, and he said not to do it because the new Necron guns couldn't be painted well. I showed him your Necrons. He liked it a lot and got enthused again. So the promise changed to if he could stay clean and in accommodation until Easter, I would get him a box. Wow. Big man. Generous man, really. I dropped Elite Starter Box off to him on Friday. He has already saved the money for the paints and is more enthusiastic about life than I have ever saw him. Another guy in the house he is in is an old Space Marine player, so is taking that half of the box. That's awesome. They are talking about setting up a club for the homeless guys to be able to play, as a lot do them share an old love of games. I get the feeling this could pay forward for some time. Yeah, this is really fucking amazing, really. I know you say you like to educate people with your videos, but in this case, you have had a huge impact on someone. You were a fairly substantial part of helping him become inspired to spend his time and money on something away from his old lifestyle. And I thank you for that. Never underestimate the effect you can have on a life. Sorry for the long email. Hope it didn't take too much of your time. James of Kent. Sent from his Huawei phone. So China knows. Wow. It's a hell of a story, man. I'm glad. I'm glad that this has helped. It is, believe it or not, is something I've known since I was a young fella. That I would rather direct more of my resources and energy towards this kind of stuff than drugs, alcohol, getting into shit, getting into mischief. And I'm glad that you found a way to connect with somebody who obviously was in a really tough spot. It is really quite amazing, really, that we're connecting over which would otherwise be deemed kind of trivial, really. Warhammer, this wargaming, it's rather trivial. It's not important to our day-to-day lives, and yet we can find common ground, common interest, and connect with each other. I'm sure many of us probably could even break language barriers, just, with some of this stuff, our commonality amongst this wargaming community and, painting and, all this hobby. Like I said, since I was a teenager, I knew this would keep me out of most of the trouble that I got into, and I got into a lot. Not a lot, but not like I was, running some sort of syndicate or something like that, but I got into shit. I've been picked up by the cops a couple times. Anyway, it's not the point. This by the sounds of this fella here, he's he's had a rough go of things, and it's a wicked demon to try and get off your back. And I like that, even this homeless fella, had an opinion on the Necrons. I find that just, it's funny. I'm not laughing at the fella's situation. I'm just laughing that, somebody that, that is often disregarded has an opinion on trivial matters. You would think that, when you're having a tough go of things that, you give up the trivial things. And there's been many times in my life when, this stuff, it went to the back burner. It wasn't even on the back burner. It wasn't even on the stove. It was, still sitting on the shelf, or it was the pot hanging on the wall kind of thing. It was, it wasn't important. And, it's kind of amazing. I honestly, I don't know. I'm still processing this. This is really quite something. I'm glad that, you can, and he connected with somebody else. And it's just amazing. I'm a little bit speechless, really, I guess is really where I'm at right now. Yeah. Wow. I guess really, like, sometimes when I'm at my most cynical, I can be really quite dismissive of this stuff. And I guess I should probably lay off that kind of shit, right? Because, for somebody, especially somebody who's clawing to regain some semblance of life, that something so trivial could be, so important. Something that brings them back to this world. Doesn't really make it trivial anymore, does it? Yeah. Yeah, well, thank you, James. That's amazing. I honestly, I don't really have any words, really. It's kind of just amazing. And hopefully, this is something that he looks forward to, and, keeps him just moving forward, right? I've never been in that person's situation that something like that would, like, I have no idea what brought this person to that place. But I know it's amazing that they found something to cling to claw their way back up and, out of this dark place. And then it's amazing that you make time to help these people. Here I am just spouting off on stupid shit, but you're actually making a difference. That's amazing. That's amazing. Thank you, James. Send that. Let's jump to another email before I start blubbering like a little bitch. This is from my good buddy B-Man, Brandon Taylor. Hey, Kris. You can call me Nietzsche, by the way, on these emails if you want. I'm starting my Blood Bowl team, and I'm not particularly happy with the blue. Which GW colors should I use to improve? I plan on adding chipped paint to the armor, but I'm thinking I might need an alternate blue wash on top first. Thoughts and opinions on how to improve the general paint scheme? Thank you. Let's have a look at the B-Man's Blood Bowl. Ooh, I can already see it looks pretty goddamn good. You're not happy with the blue. What are you not happy with? I think really, I think what it is you're not happy with is the level of contrast, maybe. Like you want a little bit deeper blue in some of the recesses and a little bit light blue. I like the level of blue you've gone with this. This is a kind of looks like a Reichland Reavers color scheme. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure on what you're not happy with. I think maybe it is the level of contrast. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure. I guess I'd have to reread the email again, but I mean, your execution on its surface, the edge highlighting, and stuff like that. I mean, like, it looks good. Your work on the knee pads is good because you have that directional light sourcing, right? And on the shoulder pads, you've got an edging. You know, I guess really my question would be, what is your process? What colors were you using? And what precisely are you not happy with? Because from where I'm sitting, this looks good. I honestly, I don't see anything wrong with this model. Yes, some of your highlights could be directed a little bit more precisely, a little bit more control in the edges, and the thickness of an edge highlight and stuff like that. But I mean, that's minor. I guess, yeah, my biggest question is, what are you not happy with? Because I honestly don't see, there's nothing that jumps out at me that goes, oh, here's an easy fix. I'm going to read your email again here. I'm not particularly happy with the blue. Which colors should I use to improve? Which colors did you use is my first question. And what are you not happy with? I plan on adding chip paint to the armor, but I think I need an intermediate blue wash on top first. Well, okay. If you're going to go with a blue wash, is it not saturated enough? Are you thinking more of a solid blue? I guess I could read the comments because you're here, aren't you? You are here. Here we go. All right, we're getting some answers here. The blue looks plastic to me. Okay. So there's not enough color depth in there. Okay. I use Caldor Sky base, 50/50 Caldor Sky and Teclis blue, and then mixing in white for the final layer. Okay. And you feel it's too plastic to you, so you're feeling like there's just too much white, and it's moving too pastel for you, right? Is that what it is? And so you'd like to resaturate it. Okay. So you could take what's the darker of Caldor Sky would be Cantor blue? Do you have Cantor blue? Now, I would caution, because you are planning on adding chips to the armor, of getting a little too intense with the tonal variation, because if you're going to add chips, and if you have too much going on such small surfaces, especially with all the details, the chipping may get lost, right? And yeah, so you could take something like, say, Cantor blue, thin it down. I would use a medium, and in fact, I would probably turn it into a shade wash. You could use something like Drakenhof Nightshade as to bring all of the overall value down, but I would recommend thinning it and build to that effect. But with that, it may not, it goes dark really, really fast, and so you kind of have to ease into it. But that's why I recommend thinning it. Versus if it's Caldor Sky, and taking, say, Cantor blue, which is like a more of a closer to it, like a navy blue, thinning it with medium, adding a drop of Liquitex Flow-Aid. I don't know if you have Liquitex Flow-Aid. It's not 100% necessary. You can actually probably get away with using something like contrast medium. Take Cantor blue and a couple drops, like say 3 drops to 1 drop of Cantor blue, so like a 3-to-1 ratio. Mix that and then apply that over the entirety of the blue. Now, I see you already, it looks like you laid decals down, transfers onto the model surface. So there is that. That's a bit of a problem. You could save that for other models. But, yeah. Of course, another option, if you're feeling that it's too light a blue and you want to resaturate it, the contrast paint, Talsar blue. Talsar blue is fantastic. It's basically a cyan, but it'll resaturate that color, and you can apply that over the entirety of the model. I would recommend thinning it so you can build to that intensity, and also if you make boo-boos, it's easier and faster to clean up rather than applying it really heavy and and then also it's like, oh, it's too fucking dark, right? I'm always about easing into a change as opposed to making big sweeping dramatic changes, because then you end up overcorrecting a lot of times when you just go, oh, I'm just gonna hit blue, oh shit, it's too much blue, oh, add some more white, oh, it's too much white, you know what I mean? Versus slowly incrementing towards where you want to go It's a little slower, so you got to be a little bit more deliberate, but in the long run, as you're working through your process, especially when you're going to build a unit, which you want to have some uniformity across them all, but you want to work on a process. I assume this is, guys, your test model, right? And I would assume that, I'm making a bunch of assumptions here, but you want to have consistency across your whole team, just like an army of Space Marines, right? You want to have consistency across them all. And yeah, and so you got to try to nail down this process, right? Yeah. That might be it. If you still have like Gilliman blue, that also might resaturate the color enough. Gilliman blue and blue or Talsar blue, they're in a similar vein, but actually Talsar blue is far more saturated in color. But yeah. Where am I here? Chat, that's what I was looking for. You do have Cantor blue. Yeah, so now I don't know if you have Flow-Aid, but I use Liquitex Flow-Aid often, and it works great for turning any color into basically shade wash. So if you want something that acts like contrast paint, I don't know if you've used any of the contrast paints yet, but I'm a big fan of the contrast paints. They're just fantastic, just for shifting color, resaturating, even laying out freehand designs, stuff like that. Like it's basically like working with an ink, right? But they have a transparency to them, so they're really great in changing value and, you know, shifting color, right? So anyway, yeah. You have Vallejo Airbrush Flow Improver. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure if that has the same characteristics. Yeah. But if you have contrast medium, like I said, I don't know if you've played with the contrast paints, but if you've played with the contrast medium, it has that surface tension quality to it. And yeah, so Airbrush Flow Improver, I don't know if that's going to be the same thing, because I'm not sure why you would add a flow improver, like a flow aid, to an airbrush mixture. I'm sure there's a reason why you would, but maybe an illustration, but I can't really think of one in wargaming, because it's not like you linger on a model too long to allow a thin bodied material to flow within recesses. That doesn't make any sense. Airbrushing is all about slowly building up layers and transitions, and it's not really about, you know, putting so much down that it falls within recesses, like a shade wash, right? Like how we work with shade washes, and that's what contrast does. And initially, that's how it's intended to work. It's, you apply it really heavily like a shade wash, but it gives you all the fantastic effects, right? But it has more uses than that, and yeah. But yeah, anyways, I would take Cantor blue, like 1 part Cantor blue, and say 3 parts contrast medium. Make a shade wash essentially out of the Cantor blue and apply that. Now, because it has opacity to it, it will sit on top of some of those colors, and in fact, it's a great way to marry transitions together. So it also gets you used to using paint in a thinned out fashion like that, similar to how, you know, glazing works. And I don't know how much glazing you've done, B-Man, but yeah, it's kind of in that kind of vein. And especially on that model, because you've already laid the transfers down, and it looks like I saw like the microsol set and solvent in there, that shit's on there now. So you're gonna have to be very careful when you work your way around, especially on the team logo, because that's somewhat complex. So I don't really think you want to push the color too far from where the base tone is. And Talsar blue is pretty damn close to Kaldor Sky. Kaldor Sky? Yeah, Kaldor Sky. It's that similar value. So working with it in a thinned out fashion, you can push that blue so it doesn't feel so bright, soft blue anymore, and it'll push towards a more saturated, richer blue. But it'll still give you your brighter tones. It just changes saturation, right? If you ever played with the color wheel on a computer and you move the little dial around and you can move through all the colors, and of course you go from, you know, pushing more whites into it, more black, right? Push the saturation. Like that's what you're doing when you're adding contrast on top of these kind of paints, is you're bringing that saturation of color back. You're making it more blue. It might be light blue. The light blue will still be blue, light blue, but it'll be a richer blue. It'll be more, you know, vibrant. You're looking for that vibrancy. I think that's what our issue is, right? I think I'm correct. I don't know. hopefully that helps, B-Man. If it doesn't, send me another email. But yeah, like I said earlier, you got to give me all the variables. That way I can really work through this. Aaron Seach, I would say to a deeper base blue like McCraig blue. McCraig blue, yeah, is it's actually not as saturated as say Caldor Sky. Caldor Sky is a very saturated blue. It's like, you know, Caldor Sky is what I would consider in the color wheel the primary blue, right? Because we know, right, 3 primary colors, right? Yellow in the traditional color wheel, blue, yellow, red, right? And Caldor Sky is what I would consider to be the primary blue. It is as saturated a blue as you can get. It's not it's not Cantor blue. Cantor blue is a navy blue, right? Why is it navy blue? Because it's got a bit of a black quality to it. McCraig blue is closer to like Ultramarines blue, but not really. But it has, it's not as vibrant as Caldor Sky, which means that it has a bit more of a white gray quality in it to change it and probably a bit black as well to give it more deeper tone, but also knock the saturation out. So what knocks the saturation out is white and black, effectively green or gray, right? And it kills that saturation, whereas Caldor Sky is what I would consider to be more of a primary blue. And same with like Citadel Yellows. Was it Bad Moon? Bad Moon isn't quite, I would consider, a primary yellow, but it is a very saturated yellow. And Uriel yellow, I would not consider the primary yellow. It's got too much orange quality to it that I would not consider that to be. And for the red, I would consider Evil Sun Scarlet as the primary red. So yeah, and those are the 3 primaries I would consider in the Citadel line. But anyway, Aaron Seach, blend up to straight Caldor and then the next layer in the Caldor Teclis. Just a thought. Oh, do a deeper shade of the McCraig blue. Yeah, because he could also take McCraig blue. He could also take Cantor blue. Either one. Cantor blue just because it was a little bit deeper. But if you thinned it out, it would sit with, like, and if you added flow improver or contrast medium, it would fall into the recesses, right? Just like a shade wash, but it would barely tint that surface because thinning it, it'll only, right? The intensity of color will only build where the pigment gathers, right? It'll change the overall value on bigger, broader, smoother surfaces, but it's not a dramatic shift. And like I said, like if he's trying to get to a particular look that looks right to him, because these are his models, he's painting them, so he's free to paint them however he wants, and he's not happy with where he's at. So I highly recommend making incremental shifts in the color to the point where you get happy with it. But the key is being mindful of what you did so that you can replicate it. And of course, in replication, you'll probably find more ways to be more efficient with it. And then, especially if you got, 12 models to do, right? So, yeah. Brandon, sounds right. LOL, thank you. Yeah, well, anytime, B-Man. Yeah. just if it doesn't quite work, send me another email. You're on the Discord as well. Just post in Discord as well. Like if it's just something really small, you don't really feel like writing an email, just write it in Discord. Join us on Discord, man. Discord. I'm on Discord all the time. I have Discord up all the time on my computer. I'm not saying that I'll respond right away, but mainly because, because I just don't. I'm usually busy with crap. Aaron Seach, send pic to Brandon. Send pic to Brandon? Or you sent a pic to Brandon. Or just post it on Discord. Again, it's all on Discord. Just join us on Discord. It's the best place for us. It's the best place for us all to collaborate on these things. And again, many different channels for many different topics and blah, 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 blah. Anywho, where the hell am I? I don't know. Oh, next email. Because, we got to hurry up. Holy crap. 22 minutes OT. Jeez Louise. This is from our good buddy, Scott Radom, titled, I Can't Believe He's Gone. Oh, DMX. I don't know what the point of this email or anything is anymore. now that our sweet prince has passed. DMX was many things. Rapper, fantastic father, obeyed of all laws. At least he died as a free man, doing what he loved. A mountain of drugs and being surrounded by his family, ignoring him. Rip Rough Riders for life. If you still care about trivial matters, here's a war pig from Relic Blade I painted. I actually learned about the range from your Stone Kid dude way back when. I wanted to do a different color on the skin and still practicing non-metallic metal. Fire away them crits. If I am not on the stream today, it means that yesterday I was successful in my attempt to stop, drop, and shut them down and set up shop. Because that's how Rough Riders roll. Take care. Stop, drop, and shut them down. I don't know what that means. Anyway, here's the Pigger Dude from Relic Blade. I really like it. I do like the skin. Yeah, I like the skin. I like the hair. I like the color combination. I think that hair is a nice, needed complement to the red tones and the warmer tones on it. I like your treatment on the nose as well. I think his tusks and nails are opportunities to create a bit more texture. You know, create those striations, you know, you see on the nails, you know what I mean, and the tusks of a boar. I like your eyes too. They look glowy. Base is fun, straightforward. I really like the flesh though. I like the vibrancy of that red quality. You're non-metallic metal. I mean, again, like non-metallic metal, you know, you can go many ways about it, right? Now, the way you're doing your non-metallic metal feels more like a brushed steel, right? So it feels like it has a metallic quality to it, but it is not reflective, right? Typically, whenever we talk non-metallic metal, we are talking about the really kind of reflective non-metallic metal. In which case, your light sourcing, the direction in which your light sourcing works, changes. It flips. It's the other way. But the scratches and stuff like that would still remain the same. Like looking at like the trim on his shoulder pad. No, I guess that one pane, you got it right, because it gets brighter down below. I think the pane above, though, gets darker. And the pane closest to the strap on the body, on his chest, that would actually be a little bit brighter. But, of course, you know, again, it's a stylized approach. It's not realistic. This is more like if we were looking at this in an illustration, like in a comic or something like that, right? And we're getting the impression that this is a metallic surface. And in that instance, yes, it works very, very well. I like the way you did the leather straps, though. I like that. I like the tone, like the strapping around his ankles and the straps. I like that value. It looks like a ruddy kind of flesh tone. I like it. Piglies. Piggly Wigglies. Did I get pigs in my starter? I got the 2-player. I just got the latest Kickstarter from Relic Blade. And you know what? I didn't even look inside what models I bought. Because I already have the Wilderkin. I really like the Wilderkin. I don't remember which ones I ordered. You know, I mean, it's supporting a creator, and in part, it's a fun game. And yeah, I've only played it like a handful of times, but yeah. Yeah, see, like the non-metallic metal you did on the piggy in the front, on his shield, again, you know, that feels, yeah, again, like more illustrative. It's really good though, but it's really smooth. And I noticed there's no chipping or anything like that on it, right? But that's more indicative of like the shiny metal. as opposed to the previous example with like the axe, right? That axe feels more like a burnished metal, and same with the club as well, because the light sourcing goes upward, versus on the shield, that trim on the shield, that feels more like a shinier surface. It doesn't feel like a brushed metal surface. Well, a little bit, but not quite as much. It feels more reflective. The light, there's more light play on that metallic surface. But yeah, again, yeah, I mean, like it's really all about what kind of vibe you're going for on your surfaces when you're doing non-metallic metal, right? It's how far you push that. Like, are you just looking for a stylized approach, or are you looking for absolute realism? Because if you're going for absolute realism, there's not many instances of people doing non-metallic metal in an absolutely realistic fashion. There are some artists out there who's doing it in that regards, and they're doing it phenomenally, basically with ambient lighting and also the ambient reflection, right? So if the armor is close to like a piece of red, the armor is, that red cast is on the armor that you would, because that's what you would actually see if that red cloth was next to that shiny armor, right? You have to pay attention to the light sourcing. And again, painting is just paying attention to light. And yeah, but like doing it like this, Scott, is essentially, it's just a shorthand. And I really wouldn't get too worked up about, you know, realistically, it is what pulls off even, you know, shorthand non-metallic metal, is the blend. The smoother the blend, the more convincing that look is, right? But not to say that, you know, stippling it in or whatever doesn't yield great results either. It just gives you a different look. And again, it's your own interpretation, and, you know, it's your models, right? So you can paint them up however's you like. Disco Duke, thanks for the compliments on the busy, Kris. The bust. Yeah, the skin tone, or the skin does seem to have a slight texture. It was primed with Vallejo airbrush primer, so nothing heavy on that. How would you warm up the skin a bit? On the body or the face? Warming up the skin on, well, the face felt very warm. See, like the way the bust, at least the way it looks in the pictures, the flesh on the face seems much more saturated and warm than what's on the torso. Again, I don't know if it's the pictures, because I mean, like underneath the breasts, it doesn't seem like there's a lot of shadow there, and those are spots where you'd want to have shadow, especially down the nape of the neck and everything like that. You want to have more shadows in those spaces, right? Yeah. To send it more to Mediterranean skin tone. I'm not happy with the very pale. I'm concerned if I glaze it, then it might go into recesses and mottle. Yeah, that is a bit of a challenge. I mean, if you're doing it by airbrush, I mean, you can just take whatever your base tone was for flesh that you started with. Oh no, you started with a green though, and you threw that into the recesses. You can make a mixture of your base with the green and try and deliberately apply it into the shadows. And you even use an airbrush. You might have to mask off the dress though. But I'm not sure what you did for the face, right? So, because you want to have it match a bit. It doesn't have to match exactly, because, you know, some faces, yeah, don't quite match a body. Sometimes the body's a little lighter, sometimes the body's a little darker, right? Suntan, right? But yeah. especially with the slight texture on the skin. Yeah, the slight texture on the skin, I think that's just the way the lighting is, because the lighting exacerbates that texture on the surface. And so, yeah, you know. Again, it was kind of throwing my eye. I didn't know if it was part of the sculpt or, you know what I mean? Because, again, it's a Medusa. It's a Gorgon, right? So I didn't know if there was supposed to be like a slight, you know, scaliness supposed to be to the skin or what have you. You might want to incorporate something like that. You might want to exaggerate the greener tones into her flesh to make her look a little bit more supernatural or unnatural, for that matter, right? So, yeah. Again, I mean, like, you know, I realize that, you know, you don't have to have, you know, a hardcore picture in your mind as far as, you know, how you want to go about it, but yeah. The face was the same paint mixture as the body, but then I stippled some darker makeup around the face. Do that to the shadows then. Whatever color you used on the face to bring a bit more depth in, do that into the shadows on her torso, or I guess her upper body, or whatever it is. So like underneath the neck, especially under the chin, just create a little bit more deeper tone there. Right in this little dimple where what is it, the clavicle? Right in that space, you might want to throw a bit more shadow. Where the shoulder and where the shoulder muscle goes, right? Underneath her breasts, right? There'd be more shadow there. Yeah. I mean, it looked like you initially laid out like a zenithal highlight onto it. So yeah, I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, I would use just that, whatever color you used, use it again. But just apply it, be deliberate, and apply it into the shadows. God, you know what would be a fun idea? I don't know if you want to try it or you want to save it for another project. But for the flesh, you want to breathe a bit of life into the flesh. And taking your shadow tone, doing the sponge technique very lightly, and keep the paint very, very, you know, quite thin, but sponging that shadow tone, and that will replicate the impression of the veininess, right? And then you take your airbrush, mask off where you need to mask off, and then lay a lighter flesh tone kind of in a zenithal approach to it, and that will create transitions. So it'll give you your higher tones, higher values, but it also will allow to play with that veininess into the shadow areas, right? I have demonstrated, you know, creating that impression of veins under a surface. I've done it a few times with an airbrush. I don't think I've ever done it with a sponge though. One of the videos that I want to create is a, you know, kind of thing with, you know, unconventional methods and tools. But yeah. Disco, I do have some artist sponges I've been waiting to use. What color would you do the veining? Your shadow tone. It looked like you were using a green. I would do a mixture of flesh tone and that green. Thin it down, you know, slightly. Just so that when you're sponging, you're not applying too much paint, right? Because, you know, if you've done sponging before, and if you work with the paint a little too heavily, it can actually leave a slight texture on that surface. That's the only caution. That's the only reason why I recommend thinning the paint down a bit and not being too aggressive and too heavy-handed with the paint, and just create that slight stippling, that dotting on the surface. And then, of course, when you lay another layer of the flesh tone on top, it creates that impression of that irregularity on the skin, as far as, you know. But again, you can really exaggerate it, especially for this model, because it's a Medusa-like model, right? And so you have liberty to actually kind of really play with tone, right? Again, because you went with the greens, and I think it makes complete sense to go with greens in the shadows, because even in normal flesh tones, using greens is pretty much a convention. So, you know, you should have no problems with the overall effect. Many times I go with a darker blue, sometimes a purple, It all depends. It all depends on vibe and what mood and what colors are in front of me. Sometimes it's just, I got this color. It's already out. Start using it. I just go with it. Sometimes I just go with it. Especially when I'm making the shit up. Yeah, I just go with it. And it's your model. It's your painting. You're in complete control as far as where it goes. So, yeah. Next email is from our good buddy Legion. Converted Star Weaver. Hi, Kris and Monkeys. I finished something special this week. A converted Harlequin Star Weaver that I'm using as a Ravager for my Dark Eldar. I started this model months ago and asked for suggestions on how to do the wings. I tried lots of those from the brown, red, orange color transitions. Too much contrast. Pointillism, with the help of different size stencils, looked a bit too clean. Flip the red markings, the red-white markings, looked a bit too busy. Too stippling, which is what I used in the end. It really fits with the weathered look of the model. Next up, some jet bikes. Best regards from Germany, Legion Miniatures. So let's have a look. Ooh. Yes, I like the stippling. I think in these kind of instances, yeah. Did you use like a blue-gray as your shadow tone? If you did, I think that's brilliant. Or is it a black? Brown? It almost looks like a brown and a gray in there. Definitely the stippling works really well. Yeah. Creates a nice texture. And it also works really well with the model because, again, it's a visual contrast between, smooth surfaces and, textured surfaces. And, it makes the model much more interesting. It's the same reason why, like, for the base, you went with cracked and, textured, right? For the base. It's a visual contrast, right? It's like the shininess of the glass and the smoothness of the armor and the, the dry brushing on the hair and, you know what I mean? Like all these different factors play and make it all visually interesting. I also like the conversions. Very, very cool. Oh, yeah. Is my internet pooping out? I like this conversion. It's very, very cool. I like how it no longer is sails, it's wings. I think if I were to emulate something like this, I think I would have transitioned the that bar closest to the hull closer, so it wasn't like attached to a ball joint. And it was more, it flowed more, naturally into the sail. But that's just me. I still think this is fantastic, though. And yeah, the sail works. Does the sail need those runes and everything on it? No, not really. I think maybe in a corner or something, you probably could have. And it probably wouldn't feel too busy. Because the way you do your runes and everything like that, they're really quite minimal, and yeah, like looking at it from this angle. Am I looking at the right angle? Yeah, looking at it from this angle, like in the if the rune was in the upper left corner, or even in the lower right corner of the sail, kind of thing, right? Yeah. What it is that it feels like a good balance between the for the color scheme with the white and the red, as there's so much white, and so the sails are a really great opportunity to balance out that brightness by adding some deeper tones, right? I do like the conversion though. It's a really great idea. This is fantastic. And he said it's a Ravager. Doesn't the Ravager have more guns? Like I know, right? Like I know how many guns a Ravager has. But really, really cool. Thank you, Legion, for sending that in. Yeah, I think it was a great call. I think it's a great call with the red on the sails, and also your shadow tones. I think was a really great call. It looks like it almost like some of them look like they were brown, but then some of them look like they're a gray, like a blue gray. And I think that if you leaned a bit more into the blue gray, for your shadows, I think that would, really kind of kick it off. Although, mind you, I mean, you'd almost be inclined to incorporate that elsewhere on the model. I guess the hair almost emulates that tone, almost like Inky by Darkness. Like I keep looking at the color and it keeps changing on me. But yeah, really good stuff though, Legion. Awesome. Thank you for sending that in. Really, really good. Yeah, das ist gut. Legion's here. It's one lighter and one darker brown. Oh, okay. So there was all brown. See, like where it gets to like the very closest parts to the rails, it almost looks like a blue gray. But yeah, the hair is Inky by Darkness. Yeah. See, that's how it almost looks in those shadow points on the sail. It almost looks like a color like Inky by Darkness. The other gun is underslung. Oh, okay. Oh, so it has all the guns. It just, okay. I got you. Hey, man, I'm just, just what I can see, man. Just what I can see. Fluic. I've just turned up here because you were recommended on my list, Kris. I just found your voice so relaxing to listen to. It's helping me concentrate on my writing. Well, thank you. And carry on, I guess. What are you writing? Are you writing fun stories? Are you writing something serious? Who knows? Anyway, next email because we can, and we, holy carmoles. We're 45 minutes OT. Jeez Louise. Where's it? There it is. Next one is from our good buddy Killer Whale. It's Grimdark Branch Witch. Hey Kris, painted this Grimdark prototype for my attack tree army. What do you think? Didn't spend nearly as much time on her as I did my AdMech, but I still like the result. Cheers, Killer Whale. And so here's some Sylvaneth. It's got some big squid looking, or not squid, centipede looking thing on its arm. I don't know what the hell that's about. I like it. I think the eyes could go a bit brighter. As a general rule of thumb, anytime you're talking about eyeballs, a face on a model, you want to bring attention to it. And eyes, as human beings, we're programmed to respond to eyes. And yeah, even in anything that's resembling a face, we always want to look for the eyes. Like the little centipede thing on it, you picked out its eye in that green, which works and it's wonderful. And I would like to see a brighter green in the eyes of the character itself. Really nice work on that centipede. I like the little transition going on there. On its carapace, it's really nice. It's great work on the body of the character itself. I like all the texture. It's a fairly dark model. In these kind of instances, I think you really want to kind of pick your battles where you bring attention to the model, and typically you want to do that towards the face, the ends of the horns, the fingers, joints, things of that nature. It's very, very interesting. It looks like you got browns with like the slight red tones going on in there. Yeah, I mean, right off the top, the eyes. I would go a little bit brighter with the eyes. Just a bit. Just a fine little dot of like a bright yellow-green in there. And that would actually give the eyes almost a glow. It would almost look like you did OSL in the eyes. I don't know if that was your intention. It looks like you got glowing in the runes and stuff like that. So I'm going to assume you're going for a bit of an OSL vibe there. And yeah, I would highly recommend picking out the eyes in a brighter color. Just a dot, like a dot. This the final dot. I mean, if you could handle the eye on that centipede or whatever the hell it is, you definitely can do that eye. So I would not shy away from that. But yeah, no, it's really good. It's solid, man. It's solid. Keep going. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, like, if you're happy with it, I mean, that's all that matters, right? Is you're happy with it. And if it's a commission piece, well, is your customer happy? B-Man. Hopefully he's writing Way of the Brush fanfic. Holy shit. No. Oh, God. What is it? Fleuk? Is it Fleuk? Fleuk? Anyway, sorry. I know. I'm completely butchering the name. I'm writing guides to a musician friend of mine for a collaborative project we're working on. She asked for a written guide to each of the factions, as my descriptors are more helpful than not. Okay. All right. Cool. I don't know. I'm not going to pretend to know what the hell you're talking about, but I heard music and friend, collaborative, good. Good stuff. I'm afraid my musical knowledge is extremely limited. Even though, despite I listen to a lot of music all day, every day, I'm really not that technical as far as my studies are concerned with music. My brother, he writes music and he's a musician. Me, I know how to play with colors. He knows how to play with sound, and my other brother plays with words. So yeah. James and Kent, Way of the Brush fanfic. Now that's a dangerous path to head down. That would be. I man. Knowing that Brandon went there doesn't surprise me. If you knew the B-Man, you would not be surprised that that's the first place he goes. Oh, man. Are you coming for a visit anytime, B? Are you? Oi, shitbag. Executor 223 following. Thank you. Here we go. There. Get a massage. That was for anybody who's actually watching the stream and not simply just listening to me. Fleuk. Fuck, that name's fucking with me. We are publishing our own tabletop war game, and in doing so, we wanted to have an advertising campaign without own music, thus me writing. Yes. Very good. Very smart. If you can keep everything in-house, if you can keep all your art, your music, your graphics, your videos, your models, sculpting, and like if you can keep it all and be one thing, yeah. Now, if you're only a few people, then yeah, it's going to take a bit, but I fully support that, yeah, control every aspect of this endeavor, especially if you're going to be serious about making a real business out of it. Yeah, I bravo. Brandon Taylor, sure, I can come for a visit once the lockdown's over. Nah, come now. Bring all the COVID with you. No, never mind. You're more likely to get it down here. It's fucking rampant here in Ontario. Rampant.
We brought home lunch whenever you're done.
Yeah, I know. I gotta hurry up here. I got 2 more emails and I'm gonna just quickly jump off. It's my daughter. Next email is from Sergeant Shamrock. Hi again, Kris. Thanks for all the hot tips you gave me in last week's episode. I've almost finished the purple globo. I appreciate the effort on the voice, but if it's too much, I'll accept your normal one. My normal one. Included are pictures of the globo and work in progress of a dragon water bender. As usual, break my down. What? As usual, break my down almighty smiter. Smiter. Have a good one, man. Thanks again, Sergeant Shamrock Doug. Doug. Are we doing yo dogs now? Isn't that Buddy's thing? Love the colors immediately. Love the colors. Love your shadows. I really dig that. What is that? A purple in those shadows? Am I in the right window? Yeah. Let's. Can we do a deeper look in here? Yeah, like that. Purple and the red. Lovely. Straightforward. And I mean, like, you can see he's gone what, like 3 or 4 layers of color. There isn't a lot of blending going on, but I'm not sure if this is just, tabletop that he's going for or what have you, but it's effective. And at arm's length like this, man, that looks killer. Like the work on the back end, like on the bum, it looks really, really fantastic. It's straightforward. Yeah, I realize it's only a couple layers, as I can see. And yeah. Oh, yeah, look at that. Yeah, I like the purple. Some of the areas, I think you could refine it a bit more. Now, did you deliberately lay it in, or did you do like a shade wash? Let's see if I can guess. It looks pretty deliberate. Personally, I mean, if I was feeling adventurous, I probably would have done it like a shade wash. Or maybe even mix it and did it as the base tone and then just built up from there. Either way, I mean, again, many ways to skin a cat. But, yeah. What an awful expression, eh? Many ways to skin a cat. But I like your work on the flesh. I mean, this is obviously largely work in progress. That fold under what is technically his left leg, or at least in the photo, there's a lot of purple on that ridge of cloth, and I would clean that up. But again, this is work in progress, so I mean, it looks like it's off to a fantastic start. I love the color. The green, I like the green, how it's not, overly saturated, kind of a Christmassy green. I like the use of purple in the red for the shadow tones. I really like that. Again, that adds to the whole mystical quality of the model. I don't really want to say too much just to influence where you're going with this. But if you do get stuck or you're not quite sure or happy with where something's going, again, feel free to reach out. Email, Discord, whatever. But yeah. I'm so far I'm digging where you're going with this, and I'm looking forward to where you're going. Oh, the purple gobbo, right. Globo. Oh, I like your fluid, your use of the fluids in the coat. I like that. That looks like some solid work there. Yeah. I like the way you did the back here. I would. I mean, I really wouldn't change anything, I suppose, but I mean, you could refine the highlights a bit more, bring a bit more prominence to the high points of folds. But nah, I mean, if you're happy, move on. A space like that is also opportunity for, freehanding elements, especially for something like this, where from this angle, there's not really a lot going on the model. So, you could always, you even just create texture, right? From this angle, though, that green looks so vibrant. And it's got to be the yellow quality of the green. Yeah, with the purple. because the purple doesn't go very deep and it doesn't get very bright, so it stays very saturated. And the bright green elements of the flesh, it just vibrates with that purple. I like it. I mean, I'm a bold color kind of guy. I like working with bold colors. I'm not really, a very subtle guy. I'm not subtle at all, I suppose. I like it. I think I would have probably toned down the red around the lips. It feels too much like the Joker. I think you probably could have even went with something like a darker green if you wanted to bring prominence to those lips, like a dark green or even an off green. It's a very interesting model, though. Very fun. Very cool. Yeah. Thank you for sending that in. Yeah, I look forward to seeing what you do with that other model. That I was already in. As soon as I saw the backside, I didn't even see what the freaking model was. I was already in. I was in, Sergeant. I was in. You had me. You had me at purple cloth. At purple shadows. Fleuk. Sorry, Kris. My name is pronounced Fleuk. It's Irish word for wet damp. Fleuk? Okay. Hey, look at that. I learned an Irish word. Huh? I can learn things. Fleuk. Okay. I'll try and remember that. I'm sorry, I'm not going to lie. If you tune in next week and you make a comment and I try and pronounce your name, I'll probably completely forget this moment, but Fleuk. Sounds a bit like fat fuck. Not quite. But anyway, yeah. Fleuk. Wet damp. Okay. Alrighty, last email. Then we're getting the hell out of here. This is from our good buddy Ben Ellis. Just for fun of it, just a fun little pair of models for my own use. And it is his Lost in the Damned. Now, are you playing him as Lost in the Damned, or is this a Lost in the Damned inspired? Well, he's got a big flaming skull head, so he better be Lost in the Damned. So, what is that? What is that knob from the cooking channel? Flavortown. I really like it, and I like Ben's painting. I like that, Ben's quality of work demonstrates that through that effective dry brushing, being effective with your dry brushing, that dry brushing does not have to be so one-dimensional, and also that serious painters can be effective with dry brushing. And yeah, because the transition of the flames is just really, really great. I don't know if I'd have went blue on the head though, but I mean without having more blue in the head, so to speak. Also, the flame I think runs the wrong direction in his hair. I think it should have been brighter to his skull, and the skull be the lighter blue with like deeper blue tones inside, like say the eye sockets and things like that, but with a brighter blue at its core, or bright white in its core. Yeah. Yeah. But that's me. Oh, is it brighter blue in the recesses of the armor and everything? I see it like on the backpack. Yeah, there's a lighter blue in there, eh? Interesting. Is that to add like more of a supernatural quality to the guy? I mean, if you didn't already get that from the flames all over his bike and the flaming skull head. I wonder if he's supernatural. Oh, look at this guy. Oh, he's a chaplain with the chaos skull. That's very cool. He kind of looks like he's got a bit of a back problem, though, the way he's standing like that. I'm not making fun of your model, man. I'm just the pose is kind of like he's like He's kind of like that drunk aunt at the wedding. And I want to propose a toast. I just want to say I've known Kevin for many years, and he's a right on guy. Good night. And then one frame fall on the table. I swear to God, Ben, I'm not making fun of your model. I like the transition on the grip of his Crozius and the gun. I really like those transitions. I like how you went to that bright yellow like that and you go from the deep darker tones. Yeah, I like it. Very, very interesting, the incorporation of the blue. Have you been doing that with your other guys? Because I don't recall seeing the, like, with your other models that you've shown in the past, you've had this, like with this Lost in the Damned motif going on. Lost in the Damned? Legion of the Damned. I always felt like it was just straight up the dark with the flames, but now you're incorporating this blue element to them. I don't know if you've always been doing that or what, but it's very, very interesting. I like it. And hopefully the impression didn't dissuade you from sending emails in the future. But thank you, Ben, for sending that in. Awesome stuff. Guy Fieri, that's it, Guy Fieri. Thanks, B-Man. Guy Fieri. Fluwuk. I would be saying that to myself all day long. Fluwuk. There's a few other people who've shown up before that I've completely butchered their names. And again, that's why I say at the beginning of the show, name butcher, right? And also, Kris, you're being creepy again. If you need help with your color scheme, you want to show off what you're working on, maybe a commission painting service, you want to, get your name out there, I welcome any and all of it. Send your questions and emails to Kris@wayofthebrush.com. If you're going to send pictures, send them as attachments in the email. Don't send them off as links to other sites because I won't do it. Of course, you can also use Way of the Brush hashtag on Instagram. I also have a little Instagram segment on this program that I've been doing the last, couple episodes. It's been a while now. I think a couple months now we've been doing it, right? But anyway, if you don't feel like writing me an email but you want to show off what you're working on, yeah, use the hashtag Way of the Brush. Way of the Brush, because this is the way. This is the way. Of course, you can also join us on all the wayofthebrush.com social medias, Discord. Join us on Discord. It's a lot of fun. We keep the conversation rolling there 24/7. And if you ask questions, feel free, of course. I am a person who believes in no dumb questions at all. So I know there's people of varying experience. Some people who are brand new, some people who are way more experienced. So I welcome any and all. And of course, I like sharing and, sharing this knowledge. I think that's really what this whole internet is all about. It's about sharing information, expanding knowledge, dispelling myth and superstition. It's the age we're at that cusp. We're at that cusp. All we have to do is just dedicate ourselves to educating. So, wayofthebrush.com has links to all that stuff. T-shirts. Get a t-shirt. Links down below if you're watching on YouTube. Of course, you go to wayofthebrush.com. There's links for the shirts there. Huge thank you. Supports the channel. Keeps it going. Keeps the lights on. Helps keeps the light on. And, of course, if you buy a shirt, send a picture of yourself in your shirt, and I will add it to the Monkey Shrine, which is also at wayofthebrush.com. And, of course, you'll find a link for Patreon support. Huge thank you to all my patrons. Without your support, this channel just would not be able to continue, would not be able to afford all the upkeep that I have to do. And so a huge thank you to all of you. And, of course, there are goals for Patreon support. We're teetering pretty, well, not actually, no, we're not. We're not really that close to the first goal. So, first goal being that I would basically demonetize myself and, make everything just hassle-free, essentially. So, it's a goal. It's a goal, right? It's all about you guys. This channel is all about you guys, really. And so, huge thank you to all my patrons. Various tiers. Feel free to click. If you're not able to support monetarily, i.e. money, thumbing up the video, liking, following, subscribing, sharing, and commenting, all that stuff, all the interaction, it helps the algorithm for whatever reason, the algorithm gods. It all helps as well. And huge thank you to everybody who does. Big thank you to Carl Geimier for Beer and Blood Bowl. That's his channel. Check it out. We always take the time to thank Carl, even though he is no longer with us, for taking the time out of his busy day to create the email jingles that play before the email segment of the show. So always much love to Carl. And of course, speaking of love, much love to my baby brother Evan for creating the intro, outro music that plays the begin and end of the show. So always much love to my baby bro Evan. And of course, if you're into rare comics, not well done, but rare. Dad jokes, I know. EB Comics. It's in the description below. Check it out. And of course, if you typed in, I think, Evan Belleau, you probably get a lot of his stuff as well. He's famous. He's a famous dude. He's a famous musician. He's opened for Kiss, for God's sakes. Like, come on. He's fucking famous, man. Ghost of Exterminator Alex, I'm back just in time for the ending spiel. Whoop whoop. Whoop whoop. Whoop whoop. All right. We're getting the hell out of here. That's it for the ending spiel. Yeah. I want to thank everybody for tuning in today. And keeping the show entertaining. And actually, we stayed on topic pretty much, other than talking about love handles the whole goddamn day. Take care of your brushes. They'll take care of you. And I will see you guys in the future. Maybe.